that.
This is why I...
Listen, I have a question.
We have been trying to identify what that looks like, closing one chapter and figuring out what it's like to be friends again. I've been very specific about my boundaries. I've been very specific about where we stand as friends. Go date anybody you want. I'm gonna date when I'm ready. I am emotionally unavailable to you, and I'm physically unavailable to you. Now, birthday comes up.
I married you after you ate somebody whole booty sandwich. Y'all, I'm not trying to make this a big deal. I swear, it's not about, y'all, it's $1,000. It's not, you know, make or break. It's the point. The point is that you wanted me to sit back and let you not only use my card, let's just say it's a mix-up. Okay, fine. But now it's different because you're using my card for your extracurricular activities.
So it looks like Tamar Braxton's ex, Jeremy Robinson, just dropped a messy video of her crying and pleading for him to take her back. And the whole thing looks wild as soon as you hit play. It really feels like he's going out of his way to embarrass her in front of the whole internet, because there was absolutely no reason for him to blast her like that. After everything that went down between them, anyone would have thought she was completely done with him for good, especially after she called him out for stepping out with multiple women and even using her money to spoil the women he was sneaking around with. She even had her biggest one out here supporting her and calling JR a straight-up user, only for Tamar to spin the block and end up begging him to take her back again. That twist had everybody looking around like, wait, what just happened? It's messy in a way nobody expected, and it's got the whole timeline arguing. And if you think that's already wild enough, just wait until you hear the rest of what JR is out here saying about Tamar. Because the way he's talking will have your jaw hitting the floor. He's not holding back at all, and it has people wondering why he's still this pressed if the relationship is supposedly over. At this point, it's hard not to admit that JR has become some kind of storm hovering over Tamar's life, because ever since they crossed paths, he's brought non-stop headaches and chaos her way. And the way things are looking, it doesn't seem like he's planning to let up anytime soon, which makes everything even more dramatic than it already is. They've gotten engaged, married, divorced, spun the block, and somehow this whole hate train aimed at Tamar still refuses to slow down even for a second. It's like every time you think the drama took its final breath, it jumps back up with a brand new twist that nobody asked for. And listen, this isn't about blaming her, but the red flags were waving around so bright they could have lit up a football field. Tamar either couldn't see what was right in front of her, or she kept holding on to the idea that he might change one day, and because of that hope, she stayed locked in through every messy chapter they went through. Then last week, Tamar completely spiraled when she thought JR had cheated on her, and she didn't hold back any emotion.
So it's officially over between Tamar and her reality TV fiancé, JR. He's confirming this on his social media. So a lot of people already suspected that this relationship was over because after Tamar was recently burglarized, she said that she doesn't feel safe anywhere or with anyone. If you watch The Queen's Court, you remember that these two met on that reality show and immediately got engaged.
So I'm pretending and I'm delusional. Me and your relationship status has changed. The way I see you have changed. You know what I'm saying? Just like you outside, baby, I'm outside too. Like, let's stop pretending like you is the last of the Mohicans. You are not, you know.
But here's the kicker. JR came forward trying to clean it up, saying it wasn't even cheating because according to him, they weren't together anymore. The plot twist? These two had secretly gotten married and then divorced without telling a single person. And the funny part is, whenever something chaotic happens between them, they rush straight to social media and drag everyone into their mess like we're part of the relationship. But when they decided to get married, suddenly everything became top secret and hush-hush, like they were guarding national treasure. It just sounds wild because Tamar had the whole internet thinking they were still together, especially after she posted, "Played in my face for a 25-year-old, shaking my head, took my jewelry, took me to Turks, and all along had a whole tramp." Those words had everybody convinced JR had stepped out on her again. But now that we know they were already divorced, the whole situation looks even more twisted than before, and people can't figure out why nothing between them ever stays simple for more than 2 minutes. Tamar went online and dropped a raw message saying, "I hate you, Jeremy Robinson," and that alone showed how deep the hurt went. She also admitted that she had secretly married him after she found out he had once messed around with someone else, and when she said JR even ate, yeah, that whole post probably should have stayed locked in her drafts because it was way too personal and turned into a mess instantly. But things got even messier when JR popped out calling her D Lulu, claiming she was imagining things, and he announced they'd actually been divorced for 6 months already. He made it sound like there was no reason for Tamar to crash out the way she did, which only made the whole situation feel even more chaotic than before. Then one of his 4 former partners came forward and dropped some heavy accusations about him, saying he used Tamar to feed a strange preference he had. She claimed he liked to call himself light-skinned while chocolate and would tag himself as the minority within the minority. She even said he used to hit the clubs almost every night trying to charm black women and take them home, which had people side-eyeing the whole situation from every angle. She also described him as rude, arrogant, and insensitive at times, claiming he acted like a supporter and a protector of black women, but his actions didn't match the way he presented himself. She didn't stop there. She suggested he behaved like someone trying to insert himself into spaces where he didn't truly belong, all to boost his ego and feel accepted. That allegation alone had people talking nonstop because it painted a picture of someone more focused on validation than genuine connection. The way these stories keep unfolding is wild, and every new detail makes the situation look even more tangled than before. The whole situation got so chaotic that even Tommy stepped in to back Tamar, saying JR was a straight-up user and that the only person he ever truly cared about was himself. That support had people thinking Tamar was finally done with him for real and ready to move on with her life. Because being caught up in these low-budget storylines is way beneath her, and everyone knows she can shine on her own. But nothing was as shocking as JR's latest claims, where he tried to paint Tamar as the one chasing after him. According to someone close to the situation, JR has been running around saying he has a video of Tamar crying and asking him to take her back, like he's proud of it. The insider said that in this supposed video, Tamar allegedly admitted the only reason she called him out online was because she wanted his attention and hoped he'd come back to her. Allegedly, Tamar had been trying to reach out and JR was ignoring her completely, so the story goes that she felt she had to stir up drama just to get a reaction from him. The way this narrative is being pushed makes everything sound 10 times more dramatic than it already was, and people don't know what to believe anymore because it keeps twisting in every direction. Now, the wildest part is the claim that JR has been showing this supposed video around like some kind of trophy, bragging that he can have her back anytime he wants because she's never going to get over him, since he supposedly had her locked in emotionally. That kind of talk had folks stunned, because it makes him look more focused on bragging rights than healing or respect. It could not have been that good, Tamar. Please get your mind right because this whole situation is spinning out of control. Someone straight up told Tamar that she is a Braxton and deserves way better than a man who seems ready to drag her down every single chance he gets. Fans have been watching this unfold in real time, and they're calling it exactly how they see it, saying things like, this is embarrassing. People are practically begging her to step back and breathe, telling her, "Tamar, please, for the love of God, delete all socials and focus on real healing from the inside out." The crowd is not holding back anymore, and even her supporters are saying this whole display is too much to watch. Another comment floating around said, "I'm sorry, Tamar Braxton is embarrassing out here, acting a whole fool over a white man that was being intimate with another woman and then posting Bible scriptures after." That message hit the internet hard because folks felt like the behavior just didn't match the image he tried to show. People started calling for Tamar to remove herself from the entire situation, saying things like, "Get her the Eva out of here," because they don't want to see her wasting energy on someone who isn't treating her with respect. Every new update just makes fans more frustrated, and they're hoping she finally snaps out of this mess because she truly deserves better. The situation got even louder when more people jumped in, saying Tamar needed to stop letting this man play with her emotions like it's a game. One commenter said, "Tamar, you keep lowering your standards for someone who wouldn't even lift a finger for you." And that comment started going viral because people felt it in their soul. The whole internet was watching the chaos unfold, like it was a season finale, and every hour brought a new twist. Then another voice popped up claiming Jeremy had been talking wild behind the scenes, acting like he was the one holding all the power. He was allegedly telling folks that Tamar was always going to come back, and that alone had people fired up like, how dare he say something that bold? The disrespect was unreal, and even people who weren't Tamar fans were stepping in saying she didn't deserve this circus. At this point, Tamar's name was trending nonstop, and everybody had an opinion on how she should move. Some folks were saying she needed to cut him off completely, while others believed she was too deep in her feelings to see the truth right now. And honestly, the way things kept unfolding, it wasn't hard to believe she was stuck in a loop she couldn't break out of yet. People started reminding her of her own worth, writing things like, "You're a whole superstar. Why you letting some man treat you like a side character?" That message had fans cheering because they knew Tamar had more potential than the messy storyline she kept getting dragged into. But what really shook everyone was a final rumor floating around that Jeremy wasn't even done stirring the pot. According to someone close to the situation, he allegedly said he still had more receipts he could drop if she pushed him. That made the internet go silent for a second because it felt like he was ready to keep this drama going for as long as he could. Everyone watching could feel the tension rising, and the worst part is nobody knows what he's planning to spill next. But the streets are already bracing for the next wave of chaos. And now here's where things take an even wilder turn. Because while all this drama was exploding online, JR suddenly decided to pop out with a whole new narrative, like he wanted the spotlight back on him. He started claiming that Tamar was twisting the story and that he had been the one trying to keep the peace the entire time. That claim had people squinting at their screens because nothing about his actions matched the calm energy he was pretending to have. Then someone close to the situation came forward saying JR wasn't bothered by Tamar's posts at all. He was actually enjoying the attention. They said he was walking around talking about how this is exactly why she can't leave him alone, acting like the drama was proof she was still attached to him. That rumor hit social media quick, and folks were calling him out for being delusional and messy on purpose. Even worse, another insider claimed JR had been telling people he didn't regret leaking anything because he wanted everyone to see the real Tamar, whatever that's supposed to mean. That comment had fans heated because it sounded like he was trying to tear her down publicly just to make himself look better, and people were not here for that at all. Meanwhile, Tamar's supporters kept begging her to stop reacting online and block him for good, writing messages like, "Tamar, please stop giving him energy. He is loving this way too much. You could feel the frustration through every comment because fans truly wanted her to protect her peace instead of feeding into this never-ending back and forth. But the tension reached another level when someone claimed JR was planning to sit down for a full interview to clear his name. And that shook the whole timeline because everyone already knew what that meant. More drama, more accusations, more mess. Folks started saying that Tamar needed to get ahead of the story before he twisted things even further, while others thought she should stay silent and let his behavior expose itself. One thing is clear. Every new update feels like another chapter in a saga that refuses to die, and the streets are watching closely because whatever happens next is guaranteed to set the internet off again. This whole situation is straight up embarrassing, and seeing Tamar's name next to these messy headlines just makes your stomach drop. Like, seriously, come on now. You're Tamar Braxton, a whole legend out here, and you're out here crashing out over this man like he's the last one on Earth. It's painful to watch because everyone knows she's bigger than this kind of chaos, yet somehow she keeps getting dragged right back into it. People online have been calling it out nonstop, saying stuff like, "Why is Tamar letting this man spin her like this?" And, "She is way too iconic to be tied up in this circus." The disappointment is loud, because you can tell folks genuinely want her to rise above all this mess instead of letting it consume her. Now the big question is hitting the streets hard. Is Tamar really crashing out for real? Or is JR trying to stir up attention for himself and riding this drama just to stay relevant? The internet is split, emotions are running high, and everybody's got something to say about it. So drop your comments below and let me know what you really think. Is this Tamar losing control, or is JR the one chasing clout out here? And once you're done sounding off, make sure you hit that next video. And don't forget to subscribe to Juicy Reel for more wild, unfiltered stories that keep you locked in.
I know where you live because I put down your down payment.
You sure did. Thank you so much for
And
that.
now that
Thank
you
you
got
so
this
much
little
for the gift.
accident, give me my money back. That was not a
Promise
gift.
to God, yes it was, but it's
no,
okay.
you didn't. Stealing and helping.
But what you steal?
I don't steal anything.
You don't?
What I stole?
You stole men.
What school is the man that I stole?
Tony's.
It's official. Tawanda Braxton just caught the Fed's attention, and things are getting messy fast. Sources close to the FBI's Atlanta field office are saying her bankruptcy case isn't just about poor money management anymore. Nope, it's being treated as potential bankruptcy fraud. Can you believe that? New documents have reportedly surfaced showing unreported income and suspicious property transfers, and that's when everything started unraveling.
Remember Tony said she was going to do the bridal shower?
Mm-hmm.
She's not doing the bridal shower. Somebody else is making sure everything is right for the bridal shower. I mean, I just thought that everybody would be, you know what I'm saying, happy and excited and wanting to be a part of it and want to be involved, but I'm not getting any of that, and that makes me sad.
Yeah.
The internet went wild the second that leak hit social media. Timelines flooded, people tagging Tamar Braxton left and right, asking if she was the one who tipped the feds off. The timing? Way too perfect to ignore. One fan summed it up perfectly in a viral post. Y'all stop thinking Tamar Braxton is crazy.
I'm not supposed to say anything. The only thing that brings us together is the cameras.
Her sister Tawanda listed her as a creditor. That was a gift lie. That one post, boom, it exploded overnight. By sunrise, everyone was deep diving into the receipts, and the FBI was already reviewing Tawanda's 2019 Chapter 7 filing. In that filing, Tawanda listed Tamar as someone who owed her $35,000, claiming it was a loan. But here's the catch. Tawanda has always said it was a gift. So now investigators are zeroing in on that exact line in the paperwork, because one mistake like that can flip a case from financial trouble to a federal crime. Under Section 18 of the U.S. Code, a false declaration in bankruptcy is serious business. So now, what started as a quiet financial cleanup might just turn into a full-blown federal mess. And people are saying, if Tamar did have anything to do with alerting the feds, this family drama just hit a whole new level. Now, this is where things go absolutely crazy. The warrant the feds pulled, it wasn't just about Tawanda's bank account. Oh no, it went way deeper than that.
I can't wait to see it.
I won't be able to be there, but That's why I was calling you.
That made me very sad.
I know.
It's about to be cut off because I took my credit card off because I found out that Tawanda has been using my credit card to pay her phone bill. My phone bill?
Insiders are whispering that Tawanda's property in Georgia, the one she supposedly transferred into her husband's name, might have been a sneaky move to hide assets from the bankruptcy trustee. That's major trouble if true. And get this, it's the same house Tamar allegedly paid the down payment on. Yep, that's the one. Tamar even brought it up on camera during an old Braxton Family Values taping where she looked Tawanda dead in the eye and said, "I know where you live because I paid the down payment." That line used to sound like playful sister shade, but now fans are saying that wasn't just drama, that was evidence. After that episode aired, things escalated fast. According to sources close to the investigation, the FBI subpoenaed credit line records tied to that very address, and what they found next shocked everybody. That's how the whole phone bill fraud angle surfaced. Turns out, Tamar's name was linked to multiple recurring phone service charges that spanned years. One fan online summed up the outrage perfectly, saying, "Tawanda so nasty, paying 6 phone lines for 12 months for 4 years, plus a $35,000 home loan. Girl, I'd never speak to you again." At first, everyone thought the internet was just being dramatic, but then the paperwork started backing it up. The FBI's case literally references long-term phone service accounts listed under Tamar's name. And if that's not suspicious, what is? This is turning into one of the juiciest family scandals reality TV has ever seen. Now it's all starting to make sense. What once looked like just another messy Braxton family argument might have actually been a full-blown paper trail of fraud. And here's the spine-chilling part. This isn't even Tawanda's first run-in with the law. If you dig deep enough, you'll find she was arrested back in 2005 in Atlanta for forgery and theft by receiving. That old case, it quietly disappeared. But clearly, the FBI didn't forget a thing. Now the internet's torn apart asking the same burning question. Did Tamar really report her own sister? Because someone had to hand over those 2019 bank statements, and everyone knows the feds don't move without solid receipts. When Tamar's name started trending right next to the phrase FBI witness, people lost their minds. Was this some kind of sisterly revenge, or just Tamar protecting herself before things spiraled out of control? But before anyone jumps to conclusions, there's more to this story. Sources claim Tawanda might have actually dragged Tamar, and even Tony, into her financial chaos without their consent. Imagine being pulled into a federal mess you didn't even sign up for. Right after news of Tawanda's arrest hit the blogs, one name started echoing all over social media, Tamar Braxton. And it wasn't just random gossip either. Fans started piecing together the timeline, noticing how everything lined up a little too perfectly. It's got everyone asking, was Tamar really cleaning up her own name? Or did she just pull the trigger on her sister's downfall? Just days before the federal audit reportedly hit Tawanda's file, Tamar dropped a series of cryptic tweets that had everyone talking. And now that those posts are deleted, fans are convinced she was subliminally calling her sister out. The tweets sounded like a woman who'd finally had enough of being lied on and used. And when you look back, the timing couldn't have been more suspicious. See, this all traces back to that messy 2019 drama when TMZ confirmed Tawanda owed Tamar $35,000. Tamar said it was a personal loan, while Tawanda tried to brush it off as a gift. That single disagreement, just one line on a bankruptcy form, has now become the heart of the FBI's fraud case. Because if you list a family loan as a gift or misreport your debts, that's not a mistake. That's a false declaration under bankruptcy law, and that's federal time if proven. But here's where it gets even juicier. Insiders say Tamar didn't just talk, she came with receipts. According to someone close to the Braxton camp, Tamar's attorneys allegedly confirmed she had bank transfer records showing the exact payments made to Tawanda's escrow account for a home down payment. So when Tamar went off on camera and said, "I know where you live because I paid the down payment," that wasn't just spicy reality TV talk. That might have been literal evidence all along. And the plot thickens. Right after that bankruptcy filing, Tawanda allegedly transferred her Georgia home into her husband's name. Now fans are convinced it wasn't just a coincidence, but a move to keep the feds off her trail. Because let's be real, when you start shifting property ownerships in the middle of a bankruptcy case, the FBI doesn't just watch, they pounce. This whole thing's got people screaming online. Tamar wasn't messy. She was right all along. That's exactly how the feds catch people, under the concealment of property clause. Once you start hiding assets, it's only a matter of time before the heat finds you. But the part that really shook fans wasn't even the paperwork. It was an old resurfaced clip from Braxton Family Values that suddenly hit way different after all this came out. In the clip, Tamar confronts Tawanda about a cease and desist letter she says she never got. And Tamar wasn't holding back. She looked her sister straight in the face and said, "I know where you live because I paid the down payment. You've been stealing from me for years." That moment was pure fire. But Tawanda clapped right back with a line that made jaws drop. "Girl, you stole Tony's man. Don't even start with me." That one comeback flipped the whole internet upside down. After that episode aired, fans started digging through old rumors, connecting dots between Tamar and Tony's ex-husband, Carrie Lewis, and even whispers involving Michael Malden, Jermaine Dupri's father. Suddenly, this wasn't just a money fight. It became a full-blown betrayal saga, mixing family, love, and loyalty into one explosive mess. And get this, the same reality TV footage that made the Braxtons' household names might now be used as federal evidence. According to an insider, Tamar's team didn't go out of their way to report Tawanda, but they allegedly did cooperate completely once questioned. The source said they handed over every single receipt the FBI asked for. And if that's true, that means the feds didn't need to dig. The Braxton family drama basically documented itself. Still, social media isn't totally convinced Tamar's just an innocent bystander in all this. One fan tweeted, "Tamar's not perfect by far, but Tawanda telling Tony to call the police and press charges? That's a little extreme." Even Tamar herself has said the Braxtons only come together when the cameras roll. Off camera, it's war. And now, with feds, fraud, and family betrayal all tangled together, this war might just be the most shocking one yet. It's wild. Like real life and reality TV just fused into one giant investigation. Every shady look, every heated argument, and every sarcastic "that was a gift" line from Braxton Family Values suddenly looks like evidence. Who would have thought those old reality show clips might end up being clues in a federal fraud case? But the darkest part of all this isn't even the money, it's the betrayal. Fans are convinced Tamar didn't cooperate with the feds out of spite. She did it to protect herself before she got pulled down with the same mess. She knew how fast her name could get dragged if she stayed silent while her sister's financial drama blew up. By the time Tawanda's arrest hit every gossip blog and entertainment feed, an old rumor came crawling back that made everything 10 times worse. People started remembering what Tony Braxton's former assistant, Zoe, said on his podcast back in 2020. And it wasn't pretty. He claimed Tawanda once stole her own mother, Evelyn's Social Security check. Yeah, you read that right. Her mother's SSI. Zoe even said, "When you can steal SSI checks, I don't know what to say to a person. When you're that thirsty, that evil." That line sent chills through everyone listening. And then the receipts started matching up. Reports confirmed Tawanda had indeed been arrested in 2005 for forgery and theft by receiving in Atlanta. Now people are saying this new FBI probe doesn't look like some small misunderstanding. It looks like a pattern. Longtime Braxton Family Values fans already know the sisters' money problems were always lurking in the background. The debts, the shade, the constant arguments over who owes who. But this time, it's way deeper than a sisterly spat. Because when you mix federal fraud charges, family betrayal, and decades of mistrust, what's left of the Braxton legacy starts cracking right in front of everyone's eyes. And people are saying it out loud now. This isn't just TV drama anymore. This is real-life fallout. Even Tony Braxton, the calm one who's always played peacemaker, couldn't stay out of the storm this time. A viral clip started circulating where Tony was seen canceling on Tawanda's event over the phone, and fans immediately noticed something was off. It wasn't just a scheduling issue. It was distance. People online are saying Tony's pulling back for one simple reason: self-preservation. She's got her own reputation, her music empire, and her money to protect, especially now that the FBI's Financial Crimes Unit has eyes on her sister. And honestly, who could blame her? When your family's being investigated for fraud, the last thing you want is your own accounts ending up in a federal discovery file. But here's what really hit fans in the gut: the silence. The once tight-knit Braxton sisters, who used to flood social media with selfies, hashtags, and love posts, suddenly went radio silent. Trina, who never missed a chance to celebrate her sisters, hasn't said a single word. No posts, no comments, no subtle shade, just silence. And that silence, it spoke volumes. Then came the fans, connecting dots like detectives. One viral comment said, "So Tony thinks it's all right to help out the family, even if it means they're stealing from you?" Allegedly charging 6 phone lines for 4 years, and that's the same person who didn't think she should pay them to sing background. That comment blew up because it touched the nerve of what's really breaking this family apart: loyalty versus money. The whole Braxton brand was built on sisterhood, unity, and image, not paychecks and debt drama. But now, with every silence, every unfollow, and every little detail coming to light, fans are wondering, has that loyalty finally reached its limit? Every single time this family tries to pull it together, money finds a way to tear them right back apart. From Tamar's public battles with her mental health, to Tony's never-ending tax liens, to the heartbreaking loss of Tracy, it's like the Braxtons can't catch a break. The cameras show the glitz, but when they stop rolling, the real story always crawls out of the shadows. Since Tawanda's arrest, she's gone completely quiet online. No posts, no comments, no explanations. But that silence didn't fool anyone. Court watchers started digging through her filings, and what they found had everyone's jaws on the floor. Tawanda listed $277,000 in assets, but more than $547,000 in liabilities, including a $50,000 Tesla she was still driving on camera. One fan said it perfectly: somebody with $150 in their account shouldn't be whipping around in a $50,000 Tesla. Something's not right. And honestly, they might be onto something, because the feds are now combing through everything, from phone bills to property deeds to business transfers. According to insiders, if Tawanda is found guilty of falsifying her financial disclosures, she could be facing up to 5 years in federal prison. Meanwhile, Tamar's camp hasn't said a single word publicly, but sometimes silence says everything, and that's exactly what's driving fans wild. Because if the truth really is that Tamar quietly handed over receipts to the FBI, this wouldn't just be a family fallout, it'd be one of the biggest betrayals in reality TV history. And hold up, it doesn't even stop there. There's another twist coming, one that ties Tony's silence, Tawanda's husband, and some shady offshore money transfers together. Insiders are now calling it a multi-year concealment scheme, and it's reportedly way bigger than anyone expected. When word broke that the FBI had frozen Tawanda's business account, everyone thought the drama was over. But apparently, that was just the beginning, because if what these sources are saying is true, the Braxton family storm is far from finished, and the next chapter might expose more than just finances. It might expose loyalty itself. Nah, that wasn't the end. That was just the beginning. According to insiders, investigators allegedly uncovered that a chunk of Tawanda's skincare company revenue was being funneled through a consulting firm under her new husband's name. Yep, the same man who now legally owns their Georgia home. That move, which she probably thought would protect their assets, allegedly backfired hard. Federal prosecutors are now treating that transfer as intent to conceal assets, which could open up an entirely new level of federal charges. And just when you think it couldn't get darker, sources close to Toni Braxton's camp revealed that she quietly withdrew her name from all joint Braxton family ventures months ago, almost like she saw the storm coming and dipped before it hit. Meanwhile, Tamar has been keeping quiet in public. No statements, no interviews, nothing. But what really broke fans' hearts was the resurfaced photos from Tawanda's Bridgerton-themed bridal shower. And guess what? Neither Tony nor Tamar showed up. Back then, everyone brushed it off as typical sister drama, but now, it looks like they were already backing away for a reason. Apparently, that same period was when the IRS issued a back tax warning tied to Tawanda's household account, the very moment that triggered the first wave of federal scrutiny. So when people say the Braxtons saw this coming, they might be right. It's sad, though. This family that once stood as the definition of sisterhood goals is now tangled in betrayal, fraud, and public chaos. The same bond that made them stars might be the very thing tearing them apart. From reality TV fame to FBI investigations, the Braxton name has become a storm no one can look away from. And honestly, this story proves one thing. When the cameras turn off, the real drama begins. If you're living for the twists, the tea, and every scandalous update, make sure you subscribe to Juicy Reel right now, because you know this saga isn't over yet.
I'm the baby, or whatever you want to call me, and the youngest. I could be the most opinionated, but I'm not the worst on the planet, because I always come back for y'all. I always come back for them, to help them.
You know, I always tell you the truth, and I hear you. And I know it's not easy, but you gotta try to figure out. And again, I don't know the answer. I don't know the path forward or how to get to a resolution or resolve. It's just, but you can't keep putting yourself through all of it.
Tamar jumps into this episode and she's straight up emotional, saying her own sisters don't even vibe with her like that. She basically admits that she feels pushed out the circle, like they don't see her as real family anymore, and that hits heavy.
No, she's not coming to my wedding.
She's not coming to the wedding?
No.
No, are you sure?
I'm so positive.
What do we think about her behavior? The other day.
I think it was unacceptable. Entirely unacceptable.
I was pretty upset at myself for allowing a situation to affect me that way.
I get it. Certain things, even as sisters, I wouldn't necessarily spew out.
Those words weren't slipped out by accident. She said it with her chest, and you can feel how long she's been holding that in. She talks about how the energy between them is off, like she's the odd one out every time she walks into the room. And even though she's hurting, she still says she wants to fix things, which shows she's not giving up on this bond. She's not shutting the door. She's not throwing shade for fun. She's genuinely trying to pull the family back together. But here's the wild part. Why does she even feel this disconnected in the first place? What happened behind closed doors that got her feeling like she's standing outside her own house, knocking to be let in? If her sisters really care, wouldn't they show it? And if they do care, then what's blocking them from showing love the same way she's asking for it?
So Tamar sits down with, I believe the lady she's speaking with, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe her name is Taz. She expressed emotions on pretty much working things out with her sisters, being able to sit down, work it out. She's ready, as long as they're ready, open and willing. But what I learned is during that time, well, we know the
So now I gotta ask you, do you think her sisters actually want to deal with her, or are they keeping her at arm's length for a reason? And if they do want a relationship, then why is Tamar carrying this heavy feeling that she's not part of the sisterhood anymore? So Tamar sits down with this lady, and if I'm not mistaken, her name is Taz, and she's really opening up about wanting to fix things with her sisters. She's talking from the heart, saying she's willing to sit down, talk it out, and finally put all this tension to rest as long as everybody else is open and ready too.
Show is filmed in advance, but Tawanda and her husband did a live, and it looks like they had a whole bunch to say about Tamar. So although Tamar is feeling like she may want to, to reconcile, it doesn't seem like Tawanda wants to reconcile with Tamar at all.
Like Cantor Simmons, shout out to Cantor Simmons. He's one of my best men. The faces of who and the realities of relationships fade away, and then you start to be more attracted to the frequency that you are on. And I'm not out here looking for what looks nice. I'm not out here looking for what smells nice or what feels nice. I'm looking for what is frequency nice. So I don't care about none of that anything. If you're not matching that, I will pour into you my extra, but I'm not putting myself at a deficit or letting you like sap all my good energy, make me sad, make me upset, have me engaging in triggers and all of that, and talking down about people or talking gossiping or calling people like they name or fighting or any of that. I ain't doing it, bruh.
Nope.
I ain't doing it. I don't care who you are. Yep. I don't care if you my mama, my sister, my twin, Jesus. It don't matter.
Yeah.
She's not running from the smoke. She's saying, I'm here. Let's deal with it. And that takes guts. But here's where it gets messy. Even though Tamar is ready to settle things, the timing of everything tells a different story. We all know the show is filmed ahead of time, but while these scenes were playing out, Tawanda and her husband went live online, and they had a whole lot to say about Tamar. That wasn't some quiet little side comment. They were speaking loud and clear, and it didn't sound like love at all.
I ain't spending 2 seconds on that junk. And I love you and I mean it. I wish the best for you. I hope you find all the happiness in your life. But everybody at this house, them 2 kids and that woman upstairs that I'm responsible for, we not plugging into that. I don't care what it is.
Nope. We're not plugging. We're not pouring. We're not entertaining. We're not doing any of that. And what people need to understand is it's not our responsibility to nurture your triggers. That's no one's responsibility but yours. Period.
Yep.
We're not coddling anything other than peace, happiness, and joy. That's it.
That's it.
That's it. And if you can't vibrate up, then you have to vibrate out.
That's it. And here's the thing. This is not coming from a place of hate, meanness. I will speak for myself. I sincerely, from the core of who I am, hope that every spirit, soul on this earth finds their purpose, finds their passion, finds the people that support them, finds the people that encourages them, that cheerleads for them, and that they can do that for everyone else in their circle and be led by their source.
Right.
That's what I want for everybody.
Right.
I just do. And ain't nothing you gonna do gonna change that. But what I have control over, me, and what I will allow in my space, in my home, on my phone, in my car, like I have a choice to make there.
Yeah.
And that choice is love. That choice is peace. I've tried before. I've tried to pull people. I've tried to be like, hey, let me show you. I'm not doing that. And she ain't doing it either. We love you. We rather look towards the hills from what's coming our help.
Come on now. Come on, honey.
It's Good Friday.
So while Tamara's out here says she wants peace, it looks like Tawanda isn't matching that energy one bit. It really doesn't seem like she's trying to reconcile or sit at any table with Tamar, and that's a huge red flag for anyone hoping this family would work things out soon. The vibe is off, the tone is cold, and the divide is looking deeper than what Tamar even realized. And when the episode shows Tamar breaking down, you can tell this isn't some dramatic moment for cameras. She's genuinely hurt. She says straight up, they don't like me, and she's in tears while explaining how all these issues didn't just pop up yesterday. They've been going on for a long time. It's like she's carrying years of feeling pushed aside, ignored, or misunderstood, and it finally hit her too hard to keep it inside. This whole situation is getting heavy fast. So now the real question kicks in. What's the actual solution here? Because Tamar could not keep putting herself through the same hurt over and over again like this. At some point, you got to stop walking into the same fire, expecting it not to burn you again, and that's exactly the kind of emotional cycle she's trapped in. From what the show revealed, one thing is crystal clear. Tawanda does not mess with Tamar, and it shows every time her name comes up. Whatever the root of the drama is, it's been boiling for years. There were those allegations that Tamar used Tawanda's credit card to cover a phone bill, and that's the type of thing that sticks with family even if both sides tell the story differently. Then there was the whole situation where Tawanda lent her money and Tamar turned around acting like it was a gift. That moment alone caused a huge crack in their bond. And let's not forget the drama where Tawanda told everyone Tamar didn't show up, even though she had actually uninvited her. That's wild. That kind of move hits deep because it twists the narrative and leaves Tamar looking wrong when she wasn't even given a fair chance. These aren't small disagreements. These are the type of moments that break trust permanently. So even though Tamar is out here crying saying she wants to fix things, Tawanda is given a completely different energy. During that live with her husband, she made it very clear, without naming names, that she's not babysitting grown people's behavior, and the tone was obviously aimed at Tamar. She wasn't hinting, she was straight up saying she does not want to deal with her. And the biggest shock? Even with Tamar showing she wants peace, Tawanda still hit her with a loud and clear no, especially when it came to her wedding. She practically said, "Don't let this lady come to my wedding." And that's not a soft boundary, that's a hard block. This shows the damage between them is way deeper than what we're seeing on screen. And now, here's where things really take a turn, because while Tamar is sitting there wanting peace, wanting closeness, wanting that sister bond back, the energy she's getting from the other side is icy. It's like she's reaching out her hand and they're stepping back every time. That kind of tension doesn't happen overnight. That's years of hurt piled up with nobody cleaning up the mess. And when Tawanda made it clear she didn't want Tamar at her wedding, that wasn't just a small not today moment, that was a straight up message. Weddings are supposed to be family events, right? If you block your own sister from stepping foot in the building, that means things have gone way past petty arguments or small misunderstandings. It means trust is broken, feelings have been bruised, and nobody's trying to fix the cracks. But here's the part that hits even harder. Tamara's confused because she's still trying. She's emotional, she's open, she's saying she wants resolution, yet she's standing alone while her sisters move like she's the problem every time. That kind of rejection hits the soul, and you could see it in her face when she talked about not being liked. She wasn't putting on a show, she was speaking from a place of real pain. So now we're all left wondering what went down behind closed doors that made this bond crumble like this. How do sisters get to a place where one is crying for connection and the others are setting up boundaries strong enough to keep her out of major life moments? This drama is getting deeper by the second. And now we reach the heavy question everyone's been circling around. If Tamara's out here crying for unity, but her sisters are shutting the door every time she knocks, what does that really say about where this family stands? It's like Tamara's fighting for a seat at a table that her own sisters keep pulling away from her. And that kind of emotional tug of war can break anyone down. Tamar keeps saying she doesn't feel loved, doesn't feel wanted, doesn't feel included, and honestly, her tears told the whole story without her even needing to explain it. You could see it in her voice, her body language, everything. This isn't drama for cameras. This is someone who's been carrying hurt for way too long. And when someone reaches that level of pain, it means the problems didn't start yesterday. This has been building for years. Meanwhile, her sisters move like they're done trying, done talking, done giving chances. They act like there's no space left for healing, no room for a fresh start, and no interest in meeting her halfway. And when a family hits that point where one person is begging for reconciliation and the others are acting like the bridge is already burned, that's when you know the history between them has layers we still haven't seen. So now the real question is, can this family ever find their way back to each other, or is the divide too deep to repair? Is Tamar chasing a bond that her sisters checked out of a long time ago? And if things keep going like this, what happens next for them as a whole? If you're into wild celeb family drama like this, make sure you hit subscribe to Juicy Reel because trust me, the next stories are going to be just as explosive.
What I am asking about is my child.
Do I know where you live?
Well, of course you don't come. So
Exactly.
my
So
thing,
how would I
I know
give
where
it
you
to
live because I put down your down payment.
Beautiful.
And you've been stealing from me for the past couple years on my credit.
Toni Braxton has been losing it ever since she found out that Tamar was allegedly getting too close with her man. And not just rumors close, but crossing the line close.
But what you steal?
I don't steal anything.
You don't? You sold men.
Who's the man that I stole?
Tony's. You slept with them a few times.
Who? What man?
You not get the lead.
Oh, bitch. Dirty, low down ass bitch.
Oh, you're such a liar. Such a liar.
Man, he said he Tawanda.
You know that's a lie.
I swear to God.
That's a lie. Which God are you trying to?
Your man for? You think too? Don't you?
This whole situation has turned into pure chaos, and fans are saying this might be the moment that finally rips the Braxton family apart for good. Toni's reportedly furious, claiming she'll never forgive Tamar for this one, and honestly, who could blame her? It's one thing to deal with random women acting wild around your man, but your own sister? That's betrayal on a whole other level, and some wounds just don't heal. People who've been around the Braxtons say the tension in that family dinner was thick enough to cut with a knife. Everyone was whispering, and Tawanda, always the one who accidentally spills the tea, dropped the mother of all bombs right in front of everyone. Toni's face froze, Tamar went silent, and you could practically feel the air leave the room. Now fans are wondering if this is really the end of the Braxton sisterhood, or if the sisters are once again pulling a setup.
Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe.
Framing Tamar as the family scapegoat like they've done before. Either way, this drama's exploding, And nobody's walking away clean this time. Dinner was supposed to be calm, but with the Braxtons, that never happens. Within minutes, voices were raised and Tamar snapped, throwing shade right at Tawanda. She reminded her that the only reason Tawanda even has a house is because she was the one who put down the payment. "Don't forget who made that happen," Tamar allegedly shouted, and the table went silent. But she didn't stop there. She hit her sister with another bomb, accusing Tawanda of secretly using her credit card for years without permission.
Right.
Hey,
You killed it, man.
babe, I was trying to go crazy. I wanted to call
No,
him.
Tony, the was the #1 trending topic. I tried to tell him I showed him.
Now, according to the bankruptcy papers floating around, Tawanda is drowning in debt. We're talking $500,000 deep. The same paperwork shows Tamar had lent her around $35,000 for that home down payment, which makes the whole situation even messier. Tamar straight up called Tawanda a thief, and honestly, fans say she might not be lying. People still remember when Tawanda made headlines for allegedly stealing their mom's Social Security checks, and even Tony has accused her of taking money behind her back. Tawanda clearly doesn't mind helping herself to other people's stuff, so when Tamar threw shade saying the T in her name stands for thief, it sent everyone over the edge. But here's where things flipped fast. Tawanda didn't even let Tamar finish before she came for blood. She clapped back and started dragging out Tamar's own dirty secrets for everyone to hear.
So I'm 16, I'm at my aunt's house, and when I leave, I'm there for the summer, her partner decides, her husband at the time decides to start sexting me. So sexting in a sexual manner, okay? There was nothing physical that happened, absolutely nothing physical.
What came out of her mouth had Tamar spiraling, and it only got uglier from there. Tawanda didn't hold back. She hit Tamar with the lowest blow imaginable. In front of everyone, she accused Tamar of being a thief too, claiming she stole Tony's man. The name of the guy was censored out in the footage for legal reasons, but fans say you could feel the tension explode through the screen.
As the years have evolved, that has turned into, it's your fault. It's turned into, you were old enough to know right from wrong. And it's turned into something physical happened and you did it. And for me, that's mind-boggling to me, because if there was something that was physical that happened, and I'm 16 years old, this makes this person right. You know the word, and I can't.
Whatever Tawanda said, it struck deep because Tamar's reaction was instant. Her face dropped, her eyes went wide, and then she snapped. The next few seconds were pure chaos. Tamar started screaming, knocking over drinks, and swearing up and down that Tawanda was lying through her teeth. The table turned into a war zone, and everyone was frozen, trying to figure out if Tawanda had just exposed the biggest Braxton family scandal ever. But in the middle of all that madness, Tony's reaction said everything. She didn't yell, she didn't move. She just sat there, completely stunned. You could see the heartbreak written all over her face after all those years of having Tamar's back, of defending her when everyone else turned away. This was the ultimate betrayal. And to make things worse, Tony realized Tawanda had been sitting on that secret for years, just waiting for the perfect moment to drop it. The real twist, the other sisters apparently knew too. And none of them warned Tony. That realization broke her completely. At that dinner table, you could tell. The trust was gone. The bond was shattered. And Tony looked like she'd just lost her entire family in one night. The moment that clip hit the internet, it exploded. Within minutes, it was everywhere. TikTok, X, Instagram, you name it. People couldn't believe what they were hearing, and it instantly became the Braxtons' biggest scandal yet. Just when everyone thought this family couldn't possibly get messier, they went and outdid themselves again. The drama was hotter than ever, and the internet detectives went straight to work trying to uncover who the mystery man was that Tamar allegedly stole from Tony. Now that bleeped out name during the episode, yeah, that only made things worse. Fans were way too nosy to let that slide, and it didn't take long before people started connecting the dots, and all arrows pointed straight at Birdman. Within hours, Birdman's name was trending and the theories were wild. Apparently, Birdman and his Cash Money crew had just done a versus battle against No Limit, and Tony couldn't make it to support her man that night. But guess who did show up? Tamar, and she was doing the absolute most. According to clips fans posted, Tamar was running around backstage acting like Birdman's first lady, laughing, flirting, and even wiping sweat off his forehead like she was his woman. The crowd noticed, the cameras noticed, and fans online. They lost it. If you didn't know the backstory, you'd definitely think they were a couple by the way she was acting. The internet started calling her out left and right, accusing her of crossing the line, but Tamar fired back immediately, trying to clear the air. She said she was only there to hold it down for her sister Tony, saying, "'Cause she couldn't be here and she loves her husband, so I'ma hold it down for her and my brother." To make things even more confusing, Tamar later posted a video of her and Birdman on a video call with Tony, smiling, laughing, like everything was totally normal. But by then, fans weren't buying it anymore. They'd already made up their minds, and the scandal was out of control. That little video call Tamar posted didn't help her case one bit. If anything, it made people even more suspicious. But just as the Birdman drama started cooling down, a new bomb dropped that flipped everything upside down again. Turns out, Birdman might not have even been the man Tawanda was talking about at that chaotic dinner. Sources started whispering that the real name bleeped out wasn't Birdman at all. It was Carrie Lewis, Tony Braxton's ex-husband. And when that detail leaked, fans went crazy. What's even messier is that this rumor didn't come out of nowhere. People had been side-eyeing Tamar over Carrie for years. As far back as 2011, blogs were already spilling tea about Tamar supposedly having an affair with Carrie to get a boost in her music career. One blogger back then even claimed Tamar was doing whatever it takes to reach fame and fortune, and that included getting close to her sister's man. But the wildest part? That same blog claimed it wasn't just Tamar playing games. It said Tony had also allegedly been involved with Vince, the man Tamar later married, before handing him off to her sister. Fans have always brushed that off as gossip, but when you look at the timeline, it's a little too convenient, right? And this isn't Tamar's first time being accused of crossing boundaries. Remember the scandal with Michael Malden, Jermaine Dupri's father? Yeah, fans still talk about that. Word was, Tamar got close to him because of his strong Hollywood connections, and that rumor alone had people dragging her online for months. So now, when folks hear that she might have gone after Carrie Lewis, they're not even shocked anymore, just disappointed. People say Tamar's always been bold, but doing something like that to her own sister, that's a whole new level of messy. And honestly, if the rumors are true, this might explain why Tony's trust in her family has been completely shattered. Tamar's always been unpredictable. She does things just because she feels like it, no filter, no warning. And honestly, if you've been following the Braxton sisters over the years, you know their family dynamic is straight up chaotic. They act more like frenemies than blood. The tension, the shade, the secrets, it's all boiling over. There's so much bad blood between them it could sink the Titanic. Fans have even started asking if they genuinely like each other anymore, or if it's all just for the cameras. After the latest scandal blew up, the internet went wild, dragging Tamar through the dirt. People were calling her every name under the sun, saying, "Tamar, you've always been shady," and the audacity of doing this to your oldest sister. Some even said she had to be jealous of Tony's success. The comments were ruthless. It was like the whole internet turned against her overnight. But not everyone bought into the story. A bunch of fans came to Tamar's defense, swearing she'd never crossed that kind of line, especially with family. They said the whole situation smelled like a setup, that the sisters purposely dropped that bomb on Tamar to gaslight her and make her look like the villain again. One fan wrote, "I don't believe Tamar slept with Tony's man. I believe Tawanda said that because she was embarrassed that Tamar exposed her." And honestly, that theory started to make a lot of sense. See, Tamar might be dramatic, but she's also the only one who's ever spoken real truth about what goes on behind the scenes. She's blunt, she's emotional, and that scares the rest of them. The sisters don't like how open she is about their private business, especially the darker parts of their past. Remember when Tamar revealed that she'd been hurt by people from both sides of her family when she was younger? That confession shook everyone, and it made the family furious. So maybe this latest betrayal scandal isn't just about jealousy or revenge. Maybe it's about shutting Tamar down once and for all. Yeah, that confession did not sit well with the rest of the Braxton family. Instead of showing support, they turned on Tamar, accusing her of doing too much and airing out family business that should have stayed private. They blamed her for tearing the family apart like she was the reason all their skeletons were coming out. But the truth is, Tamar wasn't even allowed to speak about what happened to her for years. She was silenced as a child, and when she finally found the courage to speak up as an adult, they treated her like she'd committed the worst sin imaginable. But then things took an even darker turn when Tony and Tamar's niece, Ashley Braxton, came forward with her own heartbreaking story. Ashley revealed that her father, Michael Braxton Sr., had been physically violent with her when she was growing up, and it didn't stop there. Their stepmother, who was supposed to protect them, allegedly wasn't any better. Those girls went through years of physical, verbal, and emotional pain that nobody outside the family ever knew about. Sadly, the trauma didn't end quietly. Ashley's sister, Lolo, later lost her life to an overdose, a tragedy that ripped through the family but was never truly addressed. And just when people thought it couldn't get worse, Ashley dropped another bombshell. She revealed that her aunt, Tamar Braxton, completely cut her off after discovering that Trina's husband had been sending Ashley inappropriate messages. And here's the most disturbing part. Ashley was only 16 years old at the time. Instead of comforting her or standing by her side, the family allegedly chose to protect the man, not the child. It was shocking, heartbreaking, and it left fans furious, wondering how much pain had been buried under the Braxton name all these years. But none of that mattered to Trina. She acted like Ashley was just making noise for attention. Instead of showing empathy, Trina accused her niece of stirring the pot for clout, completely dismissing the trauma Ashley went through. Even now, Trina still defends her ex-husband, Gabe, warning Ashley to stop talking about him since he's not here to defend himself. It's shocking, especially considering the seriousness of what Ashley said happened when she was just a teenager. And Trina wasn't the only one turning her back. Ashley later revealed that even Tawanda cut her off for speaking up about the abuse she experienced. That detail is huge because it sheds light on why Tawanda has such a long-standing grudge against Tamar. While most of the family was busy protecting their image and silencing Ashley, Tamar was the only one who refused to play that game. Tamar had lived through her own silence and wasn't about to let the same thing happen to Ashley. When she learned the truth, she was furious that the rest of the family had hidden the situation from her because they knew she wouldn't keep quiet. They knew Tamar would speak up no matter whose feelings got hurt, and that terrified them. So when she finally found out, Tamar didn't stay silent. She went all in. She invited Ashley onto her podcast to finally tell her side of the story in her own words. That move shook the Braxton family to its core. The rest of the sisters were livid, calling Tamar disloyal for airing family secrets in public. But fans saw it differently. To them, Tamar wasn't stirring drama. She was breaking a cycle of silence that had gone on for way too long. After that podcast episode dropped, all hell broke loose in the Braxton family. The moment Ashley's voice went public, the sisters lost it. Group chats blew up, calls were made, and suddenly Tamar was being treated like the ultimate traitor. Trina reportedly called her disrespectful. Tawanda accused her of chasing clout, and even Tony, usually the calm one, kept her distance for weeks. The family tried to downplay the story, saying Ashley was misguided, and Tamar should have known better than to drag family business online. But at that point, the damage was already done. Social media exploded with people taking sides. Some fans praised Tamar for standing up for Ashley, saying, "Finally, someone in that family is telling the truth." Others, though, accused her of doing it for attention, calling it another Tamar tantrum. But what nobody could deny was that the podcast hit a nerve. It exposed cracks in the Braxton image that could no longer be hidden. Behind the scenes, things got even messier. Tawanda allegedly stopped all contact with Tamar, and insiders claimed that family group projects, including Braxton Family Values spin-off talks, were immediately put on ice. Even Ashley started getting hate messages from people calling her a liar and ungrateful, which many fans believe came from fake accounts linked to the Braxtons' inner circle. Through it all, Tamar refused to back down. She went live on Instagram saying she had nothing to apologize for, explaining that she wasn't trying to ruin her family. She was trying to protect it by finally addressing the truth. "I'm not the villain," she said. "I'm just tired of being silent when people are getting hurt." That statement set the internet on fire. It trended for 2 days straight. And while some of her sisters kept pretending everything was fine in interviews, fans could see the tension brewing behind every fake smile. At this point, it's not just sister drama anymore. It's generational pain, buried secrets, and public betrayal colliding in real time. The Braxton family name might never recover from this fallout. And Tamar, she's standing in the middle of it all, refusing to back down. The Braxtons didn't just dislike that podcast, they hated it. Things got so ugly that the family actually sent Tamar and Ashley a cease and desist letter, demanding they stop talking about everything immediately. But here's the messed up part. Tamar didn't even hear about it through her sisters. Nope, she found out when a stranger served her the papers. Imagine that, being legally silenced by your own family and not even getting a warning first. That betrayal hit hard, and it showed just how deep the cracks in the Braxton bond really go. At this point, the pattern is crystal clear. Every time Tamar tries to speak her truth, her own family tries to shut her down. They humiliate her, silence her, and then paint her as the problem. And fans are finally starting to notice. People online are torn. Some believe Tamar might have crossed the line with Tony's man, but others are convinced this whole situation is just payback for her daring to expose what really happens behind the Braxton brand. So what do you think? Did Tamar actually betray her sister, or is she the one being betrayed for finally speaking up? Drop your thoughts in the comments. This story's far from over. And if you love digging into the truth behind the headlines, don't forget to subscribe to Juicy Reel for even more wild celebrity drama coming your way.
Man for? You think I'm too? Huh?
Don't you go there.
Don't you? Man.
Don't you go there.
A superstar. You put your hands on me. I didn't touch you. I didn't touch you.
I'm out of here. I'm out of here.
Tony.
This is unacceptable behavior. I had to try to de-escalate it as much as I could. I didn't touch Tamar. I got in between she and Tony because Tony's smaller than Tamar. That's like a Rottweiler trying to fight a Yorkie.
Can someone please just pull the plug on the Braxton sisters reality TV chaos already? This family has turned every season into a battlefield with no peace in sight.
Y'all don't like me because y'all jealous.
You're a mean girl. You're
you're such a hater. Y'all hate me so bad. Oh, my God.
Mental illness is real. It's real.
Oh, I'm crazy?
Mental illness is real. Go ahead, Tony. I'm listening. I don't argue with sick people. Go ahead.
Bitch, I will you up. Don't play
don't
with me.
Do that.
I swear to God. But you're not going to do it for my mental health when all y'all really need to pick.
They've cycled through more therapists than most people change hairstyles, yet somehow the drama keeps exploding louder every time. It's like therapy sessions turned into war zones instead of healing circles. Tony and Tamar are back at it again, throwing verbal punches left and right. Tamar went off, asking Tony if she really slept with that other man, and the whole room froze. Then someone dropped another bomb, allegedly Birdman too. Like, seriously? Tawanda even jumped in, accusing Tony of messing with her own ex, which sent everyone spiraling.
Who's the man that I stole?
Tony's. You slept with them a few times.
Oh, what man?
Do not get
talking about the Versus battle where Birdman, Manny Fresh, and other Cash Money artists hit
the shade, the tension, the absolute nerve. Now things have gotten so wild that they're threatening to have Tamar locked up. She's gone from emotional to explosive, screaming, crying, and lashing out like she's had enough of everyone's fake love. And Tony, she's not even playing the peacemaker anymore. Her calm queen energy has turned into straight coldness. Everyone's masks are slipping, and we're seeing who's really who in that family drama. The Braxton family feud has gone from entertaining to pure madness. No lines, no limits, and no turning back.
But her sister Tamar was loud and proud in the middle of the stage with her brother-in-law, and she was not only seen twerking and bopping her head to all the hits played from both sides.
Each sister's got secrets, and they're dragging each other through the mud on national TV. It's messy, emotional, and addictive. You can't look away for even a second. If there's one thing Tamar got right, it's that this whole family might need a serious mental health check and maybe a prescription or two, because the way these sisters been acting lately, it's not even close to normal. Nothing about their behavior screams peace. It's pure chaos, non-stop. Every episode feels like a breakdown waiting to happen. Now let's get into this wild Birdman situation, because that's where the drama really popped off. During one episode of The Braxtons, Tamar showed up to dinner with that "I know something y'all don't" look and started grilling her sisters about a cease and desist letter she mysteriously received at her private address. She wasn't even mad about the letter itself at first. It was how they got her new address that made her lose it. See, Tamar swore up and down that her home was under a different name for privacy, like most celebrities do, so for someone to get that info, someone close had to snitch. Fans online immediately started pointing fingers at Tawanda, Trina, or even Tony, accusing them of leaking her address. The family group chats must have been on fire that night because the tension on camera was unreal. Then came the twist nobody saw coming. The family's own attorney confirmed that Michael Braxton Jr., their brother, was actually the one who sent the cease and desist. The reason? They brought their niece Ashley onto the show without his blessing. But that reveal didn't calm Tamar down one bit. Instead, she exploded. saying it wasn't even about the letter anymore. It was about her sisters scheming behind her back. And just like that, what started as a dinner talk turned into a full-on Braxton battlefield. Voices raised, hands flying, tears, accusations, pure madness. 1 minute it's about a letter, the next it's about betrayal, and suddenly everyone's dragging everyone. This family doesn't argue. They erupt. Things went from bad to straight explosive when Tamar started accusing Tawanda of stealing from her for years. Tamar claimed she had loaned Tawanda a whopping $50,000 to help with a down payment on a house, but Tawanda fired back saying it wasn't a loan at all. It was a gift of $35,000. That's a huge difference, and it didn't stop there. Tamar then dropped another bomb, saying Tawanda had been secretly using her credit card for 4 years to pay her own phone bill. Can you imagine? But Tawanda wasn't about to stay quiet. She flipped the whole thing and called Tamar the real thief. And then came the nuclear-level accusation. Tawanda said Tamar had slept with one of Tony's ex-boyfriends. The producers had to literally bleep out the name during the show so no one knew exactly who she was talking about. But that didn't stop fans from playing detective. Online, people started buzzing that the mystery man might have been Shamar Moore, one of Tony's old flames from way back. Others swore it was Birdman, claiming the affair went down years ago and just got buried under family drama. The theories were flying wild, and everyone had their own version of the truth. Then on the show, Tamar directly confronted Tony, asking if she really slept with her other man, and Tony's face said everything. That awkward silence, that look, it was giving pure Birdman vibes. Fans watching went crazy, convinced Tamar was throwing real shade right there on camera. And here's where it got even messier. Just days before this aired, fans were already side-eyeing Tamar for being too friendly with her brother-in-law, Birdman. It all happened at that Versus battle in Las Vegas when Birdman, Manny Fresh, and the Cash Money crew went up against Master P and No Limit. Cameras caught Tamar laughing, touching, and acting a little too cozy backstage, and social media exploded with clips. People were like, wait, is this the same Birdman Tony's with? The timing couldn't have been worse, and the Braxton family drama just hit a whole new level of scandal. Toni Braxton was nowhere to be seen on that stage, but her sister Tamar, she was front and center, owning the spotlight like it was her show. Cameras caught her dancing right next to Birdman, her brother-in-law, and fans could not believe what they were seeing. Tamar was twerking, laughing, and vibing hard to every track from both sides of the battle. But what really had people talking was how comfortable she looked with Birdman. At one point, she even leaned in to wipe sweat off his head, and that clip went viral in seconds. The internet exploded with outrage. Comment sections were flooded with fans saying, "Ain't no way that's okay, and you don't touch your sister's man like that." The whole thing spiraled fast. People were calling it disrespectful, messy, and downright suspicious. Tamar didn't say much at first, but her body language told the world she wasn't worried one bit. Then came the real plot twist. Rumors resurfaced that Tamar and Birdman actually dated way back in the early 2000s, long before Tony ever got with him. Back then, it was all hush-hush talk, just whispers floating around the industry. But insiders claimed the two were definitely close, maybe too close. Nobody had proof, but the way they moved together that night had fans saying, yeah, something's up. And honestly, when you put it all together, it suddenly makes sense why Tamar seems so comfortable around Birdman. That kind of chemistry doesn't come from nowhere. If those old rumors are true, it flips the whole situation, because that would make Tony the one who crossed the line, not Tamar. Imagine finding out your sister dated the man you're with now. That's wild. The Braxton drama just keeps getting deeper, and this one might be the most scandalous twist yet. Now here's where things take a shocking twist. Turns out Toni Braxton and Birdman actually got married, but what happened next had everyone's jaws on the floor. According to leaked court documents, the two secretly tied the knot on August 8th, 2024, but just 48 hours later, yes, 2 days, they were already separated. The paperwork used only their initials, TB and BW, probably hoping to keep it under wraps. But come on, it didn't take long for people to connect the dots. The documents clearly listed the marriage date and the split, August 10th, 2024, and just 2 weeks later, Toni filed for divorce. In the paperwork, she and her attorney described the marriage as irretrievably broken, which is basically legal talk for this relationship is done for good. The internet went wild trying to figure out what could have possibly gone wrong in just 2 days. But then, just when everyone thought it was officially over, Toni changed her mind. In January 2025, she quietly dismissed the divorce petition. And Birdman signed off too. That means as of right now, the two are still legally husband and wife, whether they're living together or not. And thanks to Tamar's recent chaos bringing old drama back into the spotlight, fans just found out that Tony and Birdman are still together behind the scenes. Now, the big question everyone's asking, why stay together after all that? Well, insiders claim Tony might be hanging on for financial security. She's had a long public history of money troubles, from bankruptcy filings to unpaid taxes, and Birdman's got the kind of cash that can keep things comfortable. Some fans even say Tony sees Birdman as her financial safety net, especially with her health issues and recent financial setbacks, whether it's love, loyalty, or just smart survival. One thing's for sure, Tony's playing this game her way. And Birdman, he's clearly not letting go either. This marriage might be messy, but it's far from over. People online are saying Tony and Birdman couldn't be more different, like total opposites who somehow ended up in the same storm. Word is, their marriage might have been more of a business arrangement than a fairy tale love story, and honestly, that wouldn't surprise anyone at this point. The vibe between them has always felt complicated, like something's being held together by image, not emotion. Now, whether Birdman was actually the man in question from Tamar's accusations still isn't confirmed, but just the rumor of it had Toni Braxton completely losing her cool. Tony snapped, saying that Tamar loves being infamous more than famous, and that she's beyond disappointed in her sister's behavior. She even admitted she's been paying her own publicist to clean up Tamar's messy image online. Imagine having to hire a whole team just to manage your sister's social media drama. That's wild. And fans were quick to point out, Tony's emotional reaction made way more sense if Tamar was talking about Birdman all along, especially since rumors have been swirling that Tamar and Birdman dated first. The tension suddenly made sense. This wasn't just about family, it was about a love triangle wrapped in years of resentment and buried secrets. But Tamar wasn't sitting quietly while Tony threw shade. Oh no, she came with receipts. Tamar started dropping her own claims, saying that Tony isn't as innocent as people think. She even said it was Tony's idea to bring their niece Ashley onto the show, the same niece who later spilled some jaw-dropping tea of her own. Ashley revealed that her father, Michael Braxton Jr., and her stepmom once found inappropriate text messages between Ashley and one of her aunt's partners, and that partner turned out to be Trina's ex, Gabe. The whole situation was disturbing and messy, and fans couldn't believe how deep the Braxton family web of drama really goes. Every time you think you've heard the worst of it, another layer peels back, and it's always more scandalous than before. When Ashley first told her aunt what happened, she said her aunt was loving and heartbroken over the situation, showing real emotion and concern. But as time passed, something changed. Ashley claimed her aunt's attitude shifted completely, almost like she started to side with the wrong person. As Ashley got older, she said it began to sink in just how strange it was that her aunt stayed with that same partner even after everything that went down. That's when things took a dark turn. Apparently, her aunt started blaming Ashley instead, saying she was part of the problem. The betrayal there is unreal. So Tamar brought Ashley onto the show to finally speak her truth. But here's the kicker. Tamar said it was actually Tony's idea to include her niece in the storyline. That set off a whole chain reaction of family drama because now fans don't even know who's really telling the truth. Was Tamar trying to help Ashley heal, or just using her pain to stir up the pot and get revenge on her sisters? A lot of viewers think Tamar had an ulterior motive, not genuine concern, but pure payback. They believe she's exploiting her niece's trauma to throw shade at her sisters and grab headlines. And honestly, that theory doesn't sound too far-fetched considering how every Braxton scandal seems to end up benefiting Tamar somehow. But if you look closer, the real story here goes deeper than Tony versus Tamar. It's about Ashley, a young woman trying to find her voice while being dragged into her family's chaos for TV ratings. She's become the centerpiece of this messy season, carrying the emotional weight of grown adults' drama on her shoulders. And now, she's the one catching all the backlash online, people calling her a liar, a pawn, or worse, while the sisters keep going back and forth like it's just another episode. It's heartbreaking and scandalous all at once. Turns out, it really was Tony's idea to bring Ashley onto the show, not Tamar's. That revelation flipped everything upside down and made Tamar's next accusations hit even harder. Tamar went off, saying her sisters have been secretly jealous of her for years, and that they love to gaslight her every time she opens up about her emotions. She said they twist her mental health battles into weapons just to make her look unstable on camera. And honestly, that's a low blow. In Tamar's own words, "You're not going to guilt me over having depression and anxiety, especially when half of that came from y'all." And you know what? That hit deep, because if that's true, it's seriously messed up. Imagine fighting your own mind while your family turns your struggles into insults. That's beyond cruel. Tamar's been loud and honest about her mental health journey, so watching her sisters use it against her on national TV, that's wild. She also clapped back at the whole cease and desist situation, questioning what her mental health had to do with any of that. She told them straight up she didn't do or say anything to deserve a legal threat, calling the whole thing ridiculous. Tamar made it clear that dinner wasn't about to become her mental illness coming out party for her sister's entertainment. She wasn't letting anyone turn her vulnerability into reality TV content again, and honestly, she sounded like she meant every word. Tamar reminded everyone that she's been transparent about her depression and anxiety for years and that she's actively getting help. She even revealed she talks to a counselor multiple times a week, both on and off set, proving she's doing the work to stay healthy despite the chaos around her. It's heartbreaking and powerful at the same time. A woman trying to protect her peace while her own family keeps stirring the storm. This isn't just family drama anymore. It's emotional warfare with cameras rolling. But just when everyone thought Tamar was finally standing her ground, things spiraled right back into chaos. Her sisters weren't having it, especially Tawanda, who rolled her eyes mid-conversation and muttered something under her breath that set Tamar off instantly. Cameras caught Tamar slamming her fork down, shouting that she's done being the family's punching bag. The energy in that room, pure fire and tension, like decades of resentment exploding in real time. Toni tried to stay calm, but her voice started to shake too. She told Tamar she's tired of walking on eggshells and that the family has to protect their brand. That's when Tamar snapped, yelling that her mental health isn't bad for the brand. It's bad because of the brand. The whole table went silent after that line. Even Trina and Tawanda looked stunned, like Tamar had finally said the one thing everyone was too scared to admit out loud. And the internet ate it up. Fans online were divided, half saying they finally understand why Tamar feels so isolated, and the other half calling her dramatic for making everything about herself. But one thing's clear. The Braxton sisters' wounds run way deeper than what we see on TV. This isn't just sibling rivalry anymore. It's pain that's been festering for years, now spilling out for the world to judge. Later in the episode, Tamar stormed off set in tears, saying she didn't want to be filmed anymore. But the cameras kept rolling as producers tried to calm her down behind the scenes. She shouted that she's been loyal, honest, and open, and that everyone in her family keeps betraying her for ratings. "I'm not your storyline," she cried, and you could feel every ounce of that heartbreak. Meanwhile, Toni sat in silence, staring into space like she was processing everything. Maybe guilt, maybe exhaustion, or maybe realizing how far gone things really are. Because at this point, the Braxton family's bond looks shattered. And if Tamar decides to walk away for good, this might be the end of the show as we know it, or the start of something even messier. Stay tuned for the final piece, and don't forget to hit subscribe to Juicy Reel so you don't miss the next wild twist. After that explosive dinner, the Braxton family hasn't been the same. Cameras caught them barely speaking during filming, and producers had to edit around silent tension just to keep the show moving. The energy is heavy, like everyone's walking through emotional landmines. Tamar's been avoiding family events, while Toni's keeping her distance, focusing on music and trying to look unbothered online. But fans aren't buying it. They can feel the tension even through Instagram posts and staged smiles. Rumors are now flying that Tamar's ready to quit the show completely, saying she's tired of being the villain in her own family's story. Insiders claim she's working on her own docuseries, one that'll expose the truth behind all the fake sisterhood we've been seeing on TV. And honestly, people would watch the hell out of that. The girl's been through public breakups, career setbacks, and family betrayal. She's got a story to tell, and fans are dying to hear her unfiltered side. Meanwhile, Toni and Birdman are still confusing everyone. One minute they're split, the next they're spotted leaving a studio together late at night. Some say Toni's just trying to protect her image while figuring things out behind the scenes, while others think she's holding on because of loyalty or money. Either way, their situation screams complicated. Tawanda and Trina, they're caught in the middle, trying to keep peace while still throwing little bits of shade when cameras are rolling. Every confession scene turns into a mini therapy session mixed with a clapback. You can see the exhaustion in their eyes, but also the addiction. Because let's be real, the fame and drama keep them relevant. The Braxton legacy used to be about harmony, sisterhood, and soul, but now it's turning into one of reality TV's most unpredictable sagas. From love triangles to betrayals to emotional breakdowns, it's a roller coaster you just can't look away from. And whether you're Team Tamar, Team Tony, or just here for the drama, one thing's for sure, this family feud is far from over. So keep your popcorn ready, because with the Braxtons, every episode feels like a finale. Tamar later made it crystal clear she's perfectly fine, just tired of everyone weaponizing her vulnerability like it's entertainment. She said her emotions aren't a storyline, they're real life, and she's done letting people twist her pain for TV views. And this time, the internet actually had her back. Fans flooded social media defending her, saying her sisters have been gaslighting her for years and turning her genuine hurt into a punchline. They said Tamar's outbursts aren't drama, they're cries for help that keep getting ignored. But things got even messier when Tawanda allegedly started pushing Tony to press charges against Tamar. Like, who does that to their own sister? Fans online were furious, calling it heartless and unnecessary. Many said the family's completely lost sight of what matters, that they're so deep in their TV roles they forgot how to be a real family. Still, not everyone was on Tamar's side. Some viewers said they've had enough of the constant crying, yelling, and chaos, calling her emotionally exhausting and saying she needs to step away from the cameras for good. One commenter even wrote, "The whole Braxton family needs a reality TV break permanently." And honestly, after all this, who could argue with that? The drama's gotten so toxic, it's hard to tell what's real anymore. Are these women trying to heal or just keeping the ratings alive? Every argument, every tear, every shocking revelation has blurred the line between reality and performance. But one thing's for sure, this family's love story has turned into one of reality TV's most explosive sagas ever. So here's the big question. Did Tony really flip out because Tamar brought up Birdman, or is there more to it than we know? Are the sisters truly gaslighting Tamar, or is she spinning the narrative herself? Either way, the Braxtons have the world watching, waiting for the next meltdown, the next confession, the next betrayal. Drop your thoughts below, because this one's got everyone talking. And if you live for the drama, scandals, and secrets, make sure you subscribe to Juicy Real, where we keep it raw, real, and juicy.
Tony, you know, when you make it, you can help us come on. So I always try to abide that. But the responsibility of it is so heavy for me. I feel I can never live my life, and I never used to say it. Like, a lot of people don't understand, my second bankruptcy is because I was sick. I have lupus, and my show in Vegas got canceled.
And the insurance wouldn't cover it.
The insurance didn't cover it, so I had to pay myself.
Yeah.
Right. So
That's a lot. That was a lot of money.
It was a lot of money to put up a show. People don't understand this. If you see a concert, you see the lights, you see the band on stage, the artist pays for all that. The hotel rooms, the salary, so then you have nothing left over.
Remember when Tamar went so far as to block her own sister Tony on social media? Not only did it happen, but Tony didn't even realize until she tried to tag Tamar for her birthday shout out, and boom.
Are you guys a couple?
Well, T, that's my girl, my friend, my family.
Do you have sex?
That's my love, my soldier, my life. She my everything, and I trust her.
Because you bought her a Bentley truck.
Yes.
So the implication is that's your girlfriend.
She my life.
Blocked. That's cold. But insiders claim this wasn't some random petty family spat. Word on the street says Tamar had been whispering shady things about Tony behind the scenes. And all roads allegedly led right back to Birdman. Now, we're not talking about a fairy tale romance here.
Please welcome Tony Braxton.
She was so freaking mean to me. I was in shock.
Do you take responsibility for the situation that you're in right now?
100%.
100%?
100%. I couldn't believe it because I loved her so much. I admired her and looked up to her. And she pretty much reprimanded me.
I read that you were upset about stories that your overspending caused this.
She says to me, I hear you have Gucci flatware. I'm Oprah Winfrey and I don't have Gucci flatware.
First of all, I didn't know Gucci made silverware.
You ain't got Gucci flatware because you didn't want to buy it. It's not because you couldn't afford it. What do you mean? And immediately, she made me feel this big. This big. That moment completely changed my career. It made people look down.
The gossip mill was spinning with claims that Tony's marriage and even her divorce were part of a bigger strategy to lock down the bag with Birdman. People were even saying she was broke at the time, which made the story stick harder. And here's where it gets spicy. Tamar herself has been accused of being the one spreading that Tony's broke narrative in private. If that's true, blocking her sis might have been more than a clapback. It could have been Tamar throwing shade in the middle of their already messy family drama. The Braxton family has always been a roller coaster, but lately, Tamar's chaos has gone full-blown nuclear, and fans can't stop watching. Tamar didn't just block her sister. She went all the way off with a full-blown meltdown online before pulling the plug on her social media. She started firing off wild posts straight onto her ex's page, dragging her own family and calling them toxic. In one now deleted rant, she wrote, "Y'all have no idea. The gaslighting is crazy, and I'm going back into treatment. Oh my God, I just pray my marriage can be saved and my life can be spared. My family is awful." That's heavy. And just when you thought she was done, Tamar doubled down with another post, venting, "I'm so mad at my life. My family is toxic. I should have never went back to BFI." Fans were shook reading those lines. It sounded like she was carrying the weight of every grudge and heartbreak at once. But Tamar wasn't stopping there. She later revealed that in the upcoming season of Braxton Family Values, she was asked to be Tawanda's maid of honor. But get this, she admitted the invite felt fake as ever. And here's the kicker. Tamar spilled she wasn't even included in Tawanda's bridal shower. No invite, no updates, nothing. She claimed she only got a random text a week before the wedding, asking her to step in as maid of honor, almost like she was an afterthought. That's cold-blooded. Meanwhile, Tawanda allegedly had Tony and Trina wrapped deep in the wedding plans, making them feel like VIPs, while Tamar says she was left standing outside the circle. For a family that built their brand on sisterhood, this is looking more like a reality show showdown, and Tamar's not afraid to call it exactly what it is: fake love. And just when you thought the Braxton drama couldn't get any hotter, Tamar claims Tawanda's new husband has been talking slick about her behind the scenes. That was the final straw. Instead of swallowing her pride, Tamar decided to skip the entire wedding altogether. Bold move. Now, everyone knows Tamar and Tawanda don't exactly move in harmony, but what really shocked fans was how this mess spilled onto Tony. People always assumed Tamar and Tony were the solid duo holding it down, but clearly, cracks have been showing. Reports say the tension had been brewing since last year. Even Tony herself admitted she noticed something was off when she tried to post a sweet birthday shout-out for Tamar, only to realize she was blocked. Tony even wrote, "I wanted to repost that gorgeous picture of you, but I'm blocked again. Anyway, happy birthday. Tay ouch." Tamar didn't let that slide. She clapped back, calling Tony's move straight up gaslighting, and insisted that Tony could have just picked up the phone instead of making it public. To drive her point home, Tamar even leaked screenshots of their text exchange on Instagram, showing the sisters casually talking about which city they were in, literally the day before. Fans were left scratching their heads. How do you go from texting like everything's cool to blocking overnight? But hold on, it gets even wilder. Whispers are floating that Tamar has been out here telling folks that Tony only got with Birdman for the money. Allegedly. If that's true, then this feud isn't just about bruised feelings. It's about money, loyalty, and the kind of betrayal that leaves scars for years. And we can't ignore the roller coaster that was Tony and Birdman's relationship. When they first went public, the two were openly talking about marriage, and fans were buzzing about the wedding that never came. Tony blamed her packed work schedule, but let's be real. If she truly wanted that ring locked down, nothing could have stopped her. And speaking of that ring, who could forget the shady saga of the missing $1 million rock? Tony claimed she lost her engagement ring after putting it in her checked luggage, saying it was stolen. But the way the story came out had everybody side-eyeing like, really? $1 million ring in checked baggage? That just didn't add up, and the streets never let it go. By 2019, the fairy tale seemed dead for good. Birdman hit Instagram with a cold, cryptic message that simply read, "It's over." Then he wiped every single photo of Tony off his page. Clean slate, no trace. Fans were left stunned, like, did we just witness the end of the saga? But Toni didn't stay silent. She clapped back with her own statement. Not with words, but with style, posting a stunning shot of herself in a fiery red gown. Her caption read, "Starting a new chapter isn't always an easy choice, but always choose to be chosen. Cheers to a new year." The energy was giving heartbreak with a side of empowerment, like she was hurt, but ready to rise again. And just when everyone thought it was really over, boom! Weeks later, Toni and Birdman shocked the entire culture by reuniting like nothing happened. 1 minute, it's heartbreak. The next, it's deja vu love. Fans couldn't keep up with this whirlwind romance. They weren't done keeping fans guessing. Out of nowhere, Toni and Birdman popped up together on stage during her Atlanta stop at the Fox Theater, and instantly the whispers of reconciliation took off again. But the Braxton-Birdman roller coaster wasn't slowing down. It was just climbing higher. By December 2023, Toni jumped online to silence the rumors, writing, "Fake news, my dear friend. Birdman and I are not married, never been married. We are both single. Case closed, or so we thought." Because the real bombshell was still loading. Fast forward, and in a jaw-dropping twist, court records surfaced showing the two actually did secretly tie the knot. The gag? They split just 48 hours later. Yup, less than 2 days of marriage before it all went up in flames. According to the documents, they tried to keep things on the low by using just their initials, TB and BW. But fans weren't fooled for a second. The paperwork exposed everything. Married on August 8th, separated on August 10th, and just 2 weeks later, Toni filed for divorce. Her lawyer didn't mince words either, bluntly stating the marriage was irretrievably broken. That sounded like the end of the line, but not with these two. In another twist, Toni dismissed the divorce in January 2025, and Birdman signed off too, which means, legally, these two are still husband and wife right now. But here's the kicker. Nobody's buying the fairy tale anymore. Behind the legal papers, the cryptic posts, and all the whispers, fans say this marriage looks more like a messy paper trail than real love. And with Toni and Birdman, every reunion feels like it's just one scandal away from collapse. Neither Toni nor Birdman has been caught wearing wedding rings. And if that wasn't telling enough, they both went as far as wiping each other completely off their Instagram feeds. Suspicious, right? That move only made the whispers louder. Fans started saying Toni only walked down the aisle for Birdman's money, and given her long-documented financial troubles, a lot of people weren't exactly surprised by the theory. But let's set the record straight. Money or not, Toni Braxton is still one of the most legendary R&B voices to ever touch a mic. She's not just famous, she's iconic. Toni first broke out in the late 80s, performing with her sisters as the Braxtons, before launching her solo career in 1993 with her self-titled debut album. And when that record hit the streets, it didn't just sell, it exploded. It shot straight to #1 on the Billboard 200 and moved a jaw-dropping 10 million copies worldwide. The album gave us timeless hits like Breathe Again and Another Sad Love Song, with powerhouse producers Babyface and L.A. Reid behind her every note. Toni was unstoppable, instantly cementing her place as R&B royalty. And then came her follow-up, Secrets, which gave the world one of the most heartbreaking anthems ever recorded, Unbreak My Heart. That single alone sold 10 million copies globally and remains one of the most iconic ballads in music history. The power, the pain, the delivery, no one could touch Toni at her peak. And that's why, no matter how messy the Birdman saga gets, her legacy in music will always speak louder than the rumors. Over the years, Toni has dropped 9 studio albums, her latest arriving in 2020, and every single one proved she still had the kind of star power most artists only dream of. But here's where things take a shocking turn. Despite selling out arenas, moving millions of records, and generating more than $170 million in sales for her label, Toni's personal earnings were scraps. We're talking less than 35 cents per album in her pocket. Fans couldn't believe it. It got so bad that Toni eventually sued Arista/LaFace, demanding her fair share. But just 8 weeks after filing that lawsuit in 1998, she was forced to file for bankruptcy. And when she later spoke out, she revealed the ugly truth. Her contracts were set up so unfairly that she walked away with under $2,000 in royalties. Meanwhile, she was expected to pay the label back for everything. Clothes, travel, studio time, even her music videos. Imagine being a global superstar, your songs topping charts worldwide, and still going home with pocket change. It's mind-blowing. And that's exactly why so many people keep side-eyeing her relationship with Birdman, claiming it looked more like a business move than a love story. Because truth be told, her money struggles ran deep. At one point, Toni was even accused of secretly transferring $53,490 to her then husband, Carrie Lewis, to keep it hidden from creditors during her bankruptcy case. Whether true or not, it added another layer of suspicion to her financial roller coaster and made the whispers about Birdman's money hit even harder. All this financial drama came to a head when Toni sat down with Oprah, hoping the interview would paint her in a sympathetic light. But instead of compassion, the moment turned into pure humiliation. Toni later confessed she felt crushed, saying Oprah came across as judgmental, cold, and flat out unsympathetic. The interview that was supposed to save her image ended up wounding it even more. And just when it seemed things couldn't get heavier, Toni was hit with another devastating blow. By 2010, she had to file for bankruptcy again. This time, it wasn't just about money slipping through her fingers. Her health was collapsing too. Doctors diagnosed her with microvascular angina and later lupus, a brutal 1-2 punch that forced her to cancel her multi-million-dollar Las Vegas residency. Losing that contract was like a financial gut punch that she never fully bounced back from. But the bad luck didn't stop there. The IRS came knocking. By December 4th, 2019, Uncle Sam filed a lien against her, claiming she owed over $340,252.90 in back taxes from 2017. And just when you thought that number alone was staggering, the California Franchise Tax Board piled on days later, hitting her with another lien for $116,154.64. Add it all up, and that's nearly $500,000 in tax debt, weighing Toni down. From sold-out tours to bankruptcies, from Diamond Records to IRS liens, Toni's story is living proof that fame doesn't always mean fortune. And with Birdman tangled in her love life and money struggles in the spotlight, this saga is still unfolding, and fans can't stop watching every messy twist. By now, you'd think Toni would finally catch a break, but the spotlight never let her rest. After the tax lines and health battles, whispers started floating that she was leaning on Birdman more than ever. Some insiders even claimed their back-and-forth relationship wasn't just about love, it was survival. Fans started asking, was Birdman her safety net, or was she caught in a cycle she couldn't escape? And the headlines just kept stacking. Rumors of canceled shows, unpaid bills, and icy tension with her sisters made people wonder if the Braxton bond was permanently fractured. Tamar airing family business online didn't help either. It painted a picture of a dynasty crumbling in real time. But here's the twist. No matter how messy things get, Toni still pulls crowds. Her voice, untouchable. Her legacy, cemented. That's the part that makes all this drama so wild. How can someone so legendary be so entangled in money problems, broken promises, and roller coaster relationships? Fans say it's the ultimate cautionary tale about fame. All the glitter, but not always the gold. And with Birdman still legally tied to her on paper, the million-dollar question remains, is Toni Braxton really free to move on? Or are the two locked in a toxic contract of love and money that neither one can fully escape? Until they make it crystal clear, the culture is going to keep watching, side-eyeing, and waiting for the next shocking headline to drop. And through all of this chaos, Toni has made it clear. She's the one who had to carry her entire family on her back. She's spoken openly about being the sister who paid the bills, kept the lights on, and held the Braxton name afloat while others barely lifted a finger. That kind of resentment doesn't just fade, it festers. And fans swear you can see the tension bleeding through every Braxton family interaction. So when people whisper that Tony may have married Birdman for financial security, honestly, the receipts make it believable. But here's the part that cuts the deepest. Why would Tamar allegedly be the one spreading that same storyline behind her sister's back? If that's true, then their sisterhood is fractured in ways the cameras can't even capture. Word on the street is Birdman himself wasn't here for the gossip and actually pulled Tamar aside to check her about running her mouth. That's a whole different level of messy. But here's the big question. With a brand new season of Braxton family values on the way, are we watching real drama, or are they stirring the pot on purpose to keep the spotlight burning? Either way, the Braxtons know how to keep the name ringing in the culture. And Tony and Birdman's saga proves that sometimes the real show isn't on stage, it's behind closed doors. Now it's your turn. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you think Tony's marriage to Birdman was about love, money, or survival? And don't forget, like, share, and subscribe to Juicy Real so you never miss the scandals we dig up next.
Guys, a demon just spoke through Tony Braxton, and I'm shook.
Okay, I gotta call you back. I'm about to have Bible study.
Why?
Cause I'm saved.
Well, not church. Just my Holy, faith. Because I'm a person that don't go to church. Right. You know?
Guys, a demon just spoke through Tony Braxton, and I'm shook.
The Braxton family always appeared like this flawless, picture-perfect squad. Same voices, same smiles, same shiny TV moments. Like everything was always sweet. But behind those bright lights was a storm nobody on the outside ever imagined. And now, Tamar Braxton is finally pulling that curtain wide open, letting people see the real mess hiding underneath. Tamar has been dropping hints for months, acting like something wasn't sitting right in that family circle. But this new reveal, it hits different. She's not holding anything back anymore. No soft filters, no cute edits, no Hollywood script.
Read the word. Because it's important to know the word. How else we gonna battle all these demons and witchcraft? How else you gonna do it?
There are other books.
Girl, get off of my phone, girlfriend. Get off of my phone. I'll call you back.
I mean, that book was written by racist white
girl, goodbye, girl. I'll call you in an hour.
She's talking about how fame didn't just shift things for the Braxtons, it straight up cracked their bond. And right in the middle of this whole story is Tracy Braxton, the sister many fans felt got pushed to the back while Tony Braxton kept moving up the industry ladder. People always whispered about it, but now Tamar is spelling it out loud and clear. For years, Tony Braxton was seen as the powerhouse, the superstar whose success opened doors for everybody else. She had the voice, the look, the awards, the presence, everything that made her the one the industry wanted to spotlight. And let's be real, the music world only ever tries to crown one main star at a time. But Tamar is saying this shine came with shadows. Shadows that hit her sisters in ways the public never saw. She's claiming the family wasn't standing shoulder to shoulder like fans believed. She's calling out how certain people got pushed to the side while others got lifted up. And she's telling it all with zero fear. Everything she's dropping right now has people looking at the Braxtons in a whole new way. This isn't just family drama. This is decades of silence cracking open. But while Tony was climbing toward global fame, her sisters, especially Tracy, were stuck fighting a quiet battle that nobody around them seemed to take seriously. They were struggling in the shadows while the spotlight kept drifting farther away. Now, Tamar is blasting the truth wide open, claiming there were decisions made behind closed doors that didn't just hurt Tracy, they pushed her right out of the picture. And according to Tamar, that moment left a mark on Tracy that she never fully healed from. It wasn't some small disagreement. It was a hit that changed her whole path. Even when the cameras were rolling and fans tried to read between the lines, everybody could sense something was off. You could feel the tension, even when the family tried to smile through it. But Tamar is revealing something way deeper, something that makes it sound like Tracy was pushed aside emotionally, professionally, and personally so that Tony's star could keep glowing without interruption. And the way Tamar is talking about it now feels different. It's not messy drama, it's not attention hunting, no shade for the internet. It sounds like she's finally grieving a truth she tried to bury for years. She's been speaking on interviews and live streams, dropping comments that had fans stunned, making people say things like, yo, maybe the Braxton story wasn't as tight as it looked. People are starting to realize this wasn't a sweet sisterhood fairy tale. It might have been a survival story inside an industry that only lets one person shine at a time. Tamar is hinting that the sisters weren't walking step for step together. Some were getting held back while others got pushed forward. And she's saying all this like she's finally tired of carrying the weight of silence. This whole situation has fans looking at the Braxton legacy with brand new eyes. Every word Tamar drops hits harder than the last. What made Tracy's situation hit even harder was the timing. When the Braxton sisters finally got their first real shot as a group, Tracy was more than ready. She had the voice, the energy, the stage presence, everything needed to stand front and center. But the label stepped in and decided they wanted the sisters, just not her. Tracy was expecting a child at the time, and the executives flipped that into the perfect excuse to cut her out of the deal. That one decision didn't only flip Tracy's career, it changed the whole direction of her life. And Tamar is saying the family went along with it because everyone thought Tony's success was going to open doors for the rest of them later on. But that future lane never came for Tracy. Instead, she ended up pushed deep into the background while Tony became the main face of the family and the whole industry machine started moving in her direction. And the situation wasn't just about fame. It was about money, power, and how the entertainment world loves building everything around one chosen one. Tamar hinted that the people running things around Tony made it clear the Braxton brand had to be centered on one star if they wanted the big push. And when a system works like that, somebody always ends up left standing outside the circle. Tamar's words make it sound like Tracy got caught in the middle of pressure she never asked for. While the industry locked in on Tony, Tracy was stuck fighting for space that never opened up. Fans are now looking back at old moments with fresh eyes, realizing this wasn't just a career setback. It was a long-term wound that changed everything for her. Every detail Tamar shares paints the picture bigger, louder, and more heartbreaking. The story hits different when you realize how easily one choice behind closed doors can change a whole life. Tamar never said the word sacrifice, but she didn't need to. The way she laid everything out had fans putting the pieces together instantly. The picture was loud and clear. Tony's rise didn't come free. Somebody paid a heavy price. And for Tracy, that price was watching the dream she built since she was young slip right out of her hands. Even when the family came back together years later for Braxton Family Values, people could still feel that weight on Tracy. It wasn't something she could hide behind jokes or tough energy. You could see it in her eyes. She wasn't just the funny one, not just the strong one. She was the sister who knew exactly what it felt like to be pushed away from the thing she loved the most, and that pain never left her. Tamar opened up about how Tracy felt like the industry never treated her fairly, like the doors that swung open for everyone else somehow stayed locked when it came to her. And the part that hit the hardest? Tamar said Tracy believed her own family didn't fight for her when she needed them the most. That truth shook Tamar in a way she couldn't ignore. Tamar admitted that the thing that haunts her isn't the fame, the deals, or the spotlight. It's the moment she understood that Tracy didn't need validation from the world. She needed her sisters to have her back. She needed real support, not promises or camera-ready smiles. On the show, people always joked that Tracy had the biggest heart, that she loved hard, forgave fast, and kept trying to hold the peace, even when she was the one hurting. And hearing Tamar talk about it now makes those old moments hit so much deeper. It's like the audience is finally seeing the real truth behind that smile. But Tamar's new comments made fans look at everything with fresh eyes. Suddenly, people realized Tracy wasn't just the peacekeeper. She was the one who ended up paying the cost so the family could even get a foot in the music world. Tamar said it straight without dodging anything. Tracy should have been standing right there with them from the very beginning. She had the talent, the grind, and the dedication, but the industry didn't want her included, and that hit different. And instead of pushing back, the family went along with the plan because nobody wanted to risk losing the opportunity they were finally getting. Tamar said the guilt didn't hit her all at once. It grew heavier every year, like a truth she couldn't escape anymore. When Tracy passed away, Tamar said the world finally saw it for what it was. The sister who got pushed aside deserved so much more. And it wasn't about jealousy or personal beef, none of that. According to Tamar, it was because the industry forced the Braxtons to make a choice, and that choice wasn't fair to Tracy at all. Tamar's voice even cracked when she talked about how Tracy never got all her flowers, not because she lacked talent, but because the door was shut long before she ever had a real chance to walk through it. And now Tamar is speaking loud because, in her words, the world needs to understand that Tracy's story wasn't just some heartbreaking moment. It was a warning, a real warning about how fame can twist things inside a family, how the industry can take loyalty, flip it around, and force people to choose sides they never wanted to choose. Tamar is saying this isn't just old drama. It's about what fame can take from siblings, from love, from something that can't be replaced once it's gone. She's making sure people know Tracy wasn't forgotten by accident. She was left outside because the machine demanded it. And hearing Tamar say that now has fans shaken because it shows how real the pressure was behind the scenes. Tamar didn't hold a single thing back this time. She peeled those layers off like she was tired of carrying the weight. She said that what happened after Tracy got pushed out didn't just stay in the 90s. It followed the sisters for decades. It slid into every reunion, every studio session, every family sit-down they tried to fix like a shadow that refused to leave. Tamar explained that every time the family came together to work, there was this unspoken tension hanging in the room. A tension nobody dared to admit out loud. And here's the wildest part. Tamar claims everybody knew exactly where it came from. Everybody felt it, everybody recognized it, but nobody wanted to be the one to finally call it out. She said Tracy wasn't upset because she didn't become some huge superstar. That wasn't the issue at all. She was hurt because the people she trusted the most didn't stand up for her when it mattered the most. And Tamar is admitting that straight up for the first time, without dodging, without spinning it, just... Tamar said she remembers times when Tracy would show up excited, ready to rehearse, ready to record, ready to be part of the dream again. She came in with hope, with energy, with that fire still lit inside her. And Tamar said, looking back now, that memory hits her with a different kind of pain, because she knows how much Tracy wanted to belong to something that pushed her away. And just like that, the whole vibe would switch up the moment someone from the label stepped in and made it clear that Tracy didn't fit the image they wanted. That line stuck in Tamar's mind for years, fit the image. She said that was the moment she finally understood the industry wasn't just shaping their careers, it was shaping their entire family rhythm too. Tamar revealed that Tracy carried that rejection like a shadow she couldn't shake off. Even when she tried to laugh it away or act like she was keeping the peace, the hurt stayed right under the surface. And when Braxton Family Values finally came around, fans thought this was it, the big redemption arc, the moment all the sisters would shine together like they should have from day one. It looked like the perfect chance to rewrite the past. But Tamar said filming didn't fix things. It exposed more cracks than anything else. She claims producers loved stirring up drama between her and Tracy because the tension was already sitting there waiting. It was decades old, never handled, and way too easy for TV to twist into storylines. And every argument they had on camera wasn't really about what the audience saw. Those moments were old wounds bubbling back up with no place left to hide. Tamar said the yelling, the frustration, the heated moments, they were really about years of Tracy not being heard, not being understood, and not feeling supported like everyone else. It wasn't about fame or spotlight. It was about respect and acknowledgement she never fully got. Then Tamar admitted something she had never said this clearly before. Tracy always felt like everyone else had moved on without her. She didn't get the tours. She didn't get the spotlight. She didn't get the push the others received. Tamar said once the cameras were rolling, she finally realized how deep that pain ran, and it changed the way she looked at everything they went through. Tamar explained that the show didn't reveal new problems, it just exposed the ones that were already sitting there for years. And hearing her talk about it now makes every old moment hit a lot harder. And even when Tracy did every single thing the industry asked for, the dieting, the training, the rehearsals, she still got treated like she was just an extra instead of a full Braxton sister. Tamar said as she got older, she finally understood how unfair that was, and it made her mad at herself for staying quiet for so long. She said Tracy kept showing up, even when she knew the treatment wasn't equal, and that kind of loyalty hits completely different now that Tracy is no longer here. But the moment that shook fans the hardest was when Tamar spoke on Tony's opportunities, the huge ones. Tamar said there were plenty of chances where Tony could have insisted that Tracy be included, whether it was tours, background vocals, appearances, or brand deals. She hinted that Tony's team was constantly pushing her to keep the spotlight clean and uncluttered, like adding Tracy into the mix would complicate the image they were selling. She explained that Tony wasn't allowed to shake up the system, and that pressure ended up keeping Tracy out of rooms she deserved to be in. And while Tamar didn't point a finger at Tony in a harsh way, she didn't hide from the truth either. She said Tony was the only one who had enough power to push back, and sometimes she just didn't. Not because she didn't care about Tracy, not because she didn't love her, but because the industry made her feel like standing up would put everything she worked for at risk. Tamar said that kind of pressure can twist anybody up. When you're told your whole career depends on keeping things perfect, it makes you hesitate even when your heart is telling you to do the right thing. And hearing Tamar admit that now has fans looking at the whole Braxton story through a different lens. She painted a picture of a family caught in a system that forced them to make choices nobody ever should have to make. And in the middle of it all was Tracy, showing up, staying loyal, and trying to belong in a space that never fully opened its doors to her. And that's the part that hit Tamar the hardest, the idea that their eldest sister, the one with the biggest influence, the one whose name carried real weight, didn't realize how deep the situation cut Tracy until it was already too late. Tamar talked about how in later years, Tracy would speak on feeling like she was always trying to catch up, like she missed a train that never circled back for her. And hearing that now breaks Tamar in a way she can barely even explain. Tamar says she finally understands that Tracy never wanted pity. She wanted fairness. She wanted recognition. She wanted respect. She just wanted to feel like she belonged in the same dream she helped build. And Tamar revealed something that shook a lot of people. The family didn't truly grasp how heavy Tracy's pain was until her final years. She said that during those later moments, Tracy started opening up more, letting out feelings she had kept locked inside for decades. Not to restart old drama, not to point fingers, but because she wanted peace before her time was up. And Tamar said one thing she'll carry forever is how Tracy didn't want anyone to feel guilty. She didn't try to blame her sisters for chasing the opportunities in front of them. She simply wished the dream could have included her, too. And that type of strength, holding no grudges after everything she went through, made Tamar see Tracy in a whole new light, almost like she was the quiet glue the family didn't even realize they needed until she was gone. When Tamar finally spoke up about all this, the internet exploded. Fans started pulling up old clips of Tracy, moments of her laughing, crying, walking away from arguments, or staying silent when things got heavy. And suddenly those scenes looked different. People were rewinding old episodes with brand new understanding, catching signs they didn't recognize before. Social media was filled with comments saying stuff like, "We didn't know she was carrying all that," and "Tracy deserved better." Tamar's honesty cracked open a conversation fans had been whispering about for years, and now it was finally out in the open for everyone to see. And suddenly everything hit completely different. Fans started saying the truth was always right there, and the way Tracy cracked jokes that were really covering hurt, and the way she stayed quiet when she felt disrespected, and the way she kept showing up even when the room made her feel unwanted. And Tamar said that's exactly why she's speaking up now, because she refuses to let the world remember Tracy as the left-out sister. She wants people to understand Tracy was the heartbeat of the whole family. Tamar explained that Tracy deserved way more love, way more protection, and way more recognition than she ever got. And what makes Tamar's words hit so strong is that she's not exposing this to tear the family apart. She's doing it because she wants healing. She said the Braxtons weren't broken because they didn't love each other. They were broken because they didn't fully understand each other. And that misunderstanding kept growing over the years. And now, with Tracy gone, Tamar says she hopes the truth finally helps the family find the closure they never gave themselves. She wants fans to know that Tracy wasn't sacrificed by choice. She was pushed aside by an industry that picks favorites, stirs division, and forces families into impossible decisions they end up regretting for the rest of their lives. And Tamar ended her message by saying Tracy deserved to be honored, not sidelined. She deserves spotlight, support, and protection. All the things that slipped through the cracks while the industry shaped the narrative. And now that everything is out in the open, Tamar hopes people will remember Tracy not as the sister who got left behind, but as the sister who loved the hardest, fought the quietest, and carried a strength nobody truly understood until later. She wants the world to say her name with respect, not pity, to recognize how much she gave, how much she endured, and how much she should have received in return. Tamar said speaking the truth is the only way she can make sure Tracy's legacy shines the way it always should have. And if you're still here listening to this story, hit that support button, join the community, and make sure you subscribe to Juicy Reel for more real, raw breakdowns just like this.
So
Exactly.
my
So
thing,
how would I
I know
give
where
it to
you
him?
live because I put down your down payment.
You sure did. Thank you so much for
And
that.
now that
Thank
you got
so
this
much for
little
the gift.
accident, give me my money back. That was not a
Promise
gift.
to-
Supposed to say anything. The only thing that brings us together is the cameras.
I can't wait
But
to
I won't
see
be
it.
able to be there. That's why I was calling you.
That made me very sad.
I know.
Let's dive into this because the Braxton family drama just flipped into something wild and straight up unbelievable. This whole situation between Tamar and Tawanda is way deeper than people thought, and it's loaded with broken trust, big money, and sisters turning on each other when they were supposed to be tight like glue. We're talking about $50,000. Not pocket change, not let me borrow a little something, but a real down payment.
Has been using my credit card to pay her phone bill.
My phone bill?
Now, Tony.
Beautiful.
So what?
Tamar handed Tawanda that money to lock in a house, a full-on place to live, something serious. But now Tawanda is out here acting like the cash was just some friendly gift, like Tamar just handed her 50 grand for fun. That's wild. And here's the thing. This isn't some random rumor someone made up online. There's a real property tied to this whole mess, a real listing, and actual receipts that link everything together.
I know where you live because I put down your down payment.
You sure did. Thank you so much for
And
that.
now that
Thank
you got
so
this
much
little
for the gift.
accident, give me my money back. That was not a
Promise
gift.
to God. Yes, it was. But it's
no, you
okay.
didn't.
The same house that popped up on their reality show lines up perfectly with what Tamar talked about. And that makes everything hit even harder. It's not just talk. It's real-life proof sitting in plain sight. What makes everything even more shocking is how the rest of the sisters decided to play it. Tony, Trina, all of them apparently knew exactly what went down, but instead of helping clear Tamar's name, they stood back and let people think she was being dramatic or even making stuff up. That's rough, especially when it's family and you expect them to step up when stuff gets messy.
You didn't. Tawanda told me her lender needed to see the money in her account. and that she was waiting on a check and she would be giving me my money back. I was reluctant, but I said, okay.
Thank you so much.
You said I will pay you back the next day, and then you listed me as a creditor.
Oh my.
This whole thing is already sounding like the beginning of a storm, and it's only the first layer of the drama. That's cold on a whole different level, especially when you know someone is already battling their own mental and emotional struggles. Tamar has always kept it real about the things she's faced. She never hid that. So for her own family to gaslight her on national TV like she was confused or making things up, that's harsh. And here's the wild part. Tamar straight up told Tawanda on the show, I paid your down payment, and Tawanda didn't deny anything. She didn't argue. She didn't correct her. She actually thanked her right there in front of everybody. So how in the world does that suddenly turn into, it was a gift? Come on now. That's not how real agreements work, and everybody knows it.
It was absolutely a gift. And it wasn't that I approached her. She said, but I want to help you get, it's like, okay. And that's just something that we used to do as sisters, help each other.
The burden on you is the one that made it out. But you gotta be willing to let them fly.
I feel like I do. I feel like they don't let me.
What's making this whole situation even louder is what people have been whispering about Tawanda's money habits. Folks have been saying she's had issues with spending and borrowing before, and now everything Tamar said is starting to look way too real. Tamar even mentioned that Tawanda came into some money, something tied to a lawsuit or settlement, and even then she still didn't pay her back. That's the part that's got everyone raising their eyebrows. At this point, it's getting hard to defend Tawanda's actions because the whole thing looks less like sisterly support and way more like a straight-up betrayal. Seeing your own sister struggling and still acting like you don't owe her anything, that hits different. And listen, watching Tamar stay firm while everyone around her acted clueless, that speaks volumes. This was never just about the money. This was about loyalty, respect, and the truth being ignored while the whole world was watching. This part right here really exposes everything. Because how are you living in a nice house, looking comfortable, pockets looking all right, but you still can't pay back the sister who helped you when you were down? That's the type of thing that makes people question everything, and that's wild for real. If someone comes through for you with that kind of support when you're struggling, the least you can do is make things right. Now let's break this down, because once you look at the real estate side of the story, the truth starts slipping out fast. When you're buying a house, every single dollar has to be tracked and explained. No mystery cash, no, it just showed up. None of that. The bank needs proof of where the money came from and exactly who sent it. You can get help from a family member, sure, but it all has to be in writing with full documentation because lenders don't play around with big amounts. So if Tamar really transferred $50,000 to Tawanda, that clearly wasn't some casual, here, take this as a gift moment. This sounds much more like a short-term loan to make Tawanda look financially ready for the home purchase, the type of thing people do when they're trying to get approved and need their bank statements to look solid. That's why Tawanda suddenly calling it a gift doesn't match how real estate works at all. The numbers don't add up, the story doesn't line up, and the timing makes the whole thing look even more suspicious. It feels like someone changed the narrative after the fact. And here's where it goes, from messy to straight-up unbelievable. Tamar reportedly said Tawanda promised she would return the money the very next day, like it was supposed to be a quick turnaround. But instead of paying her back, Tamar later finds out Tawanda listed her as a creditor in her bankruptcy case. That means Tawanda officially put Tamar on paperwork as someone she owed money to, even though she was publicly claiming the money was a gift. That twist right there is the kind of thing that makes people stop and go, wait, what? This whole situation just keeps getting more intense with every detail. Like what? That's bold on a whole different level. Let me break this down real quick, because this part right here is where things start looking real shady. Now, I'm not saying Tawanda actually did this, but some folks out there will list someone as a creditor in their bankruptcy just so the debt gets wiped clean. That way, they don't have to pay back the person who helped them in the first place. And guess who ends up losing? The same person who stepped up for them when they were struggling. That's messed up. And here's the part that makes everybody's eyebrows shoot up. There are real bankruptcy filings with Tamar's name on them, and it's public record. That alone backs up what Tamar has been saying from the jump. This isn't some rumor floating around. This is actual paperwork filed with the court. That gives the story a whole different weight. Now let's talk about the timeline, because it hits hard. Tawanda bought her home in 2018, right? But by April 2019, she was already filing for bankruptcy. That's barely a year later. So what does that tell you? She took the $50,000, closed on the property, then turned around and filed for bankruptcy, like wiping her sister off the debt meant nothing. If that doesn't look like a setup, then what does? At this point, it really starts to feel like Tawanda never planned to pay Tamar back in the first place. And to make everything even stranger, Tamar says it was $50,000, while Tawanda keeps insisting it was only $35,000. Why can't the numbers even match up? How do you misremember tens of thousands of dollars? Somebody is clearly twisting the story, and it's not hard to see who benefits the most from all this confusion. You know what's wild? That whole $35,000 versus $50,000 argument actually makes sense once you really think about it. If someone borrowed money all the way back in 2018, and we're only talking about it now, years later, the amount could have easily gone up just from interest alone. So that difference Tawanda keeps talking about might not be some mystery. It might just be the result of her waiting forever to pay back what she owed. And let's keep it real. Tamar had proof. This wasn't some friendly little, oh, here's a sweet gift moment. There were receipts, documents, and actual bankruptcy records showing she was supposed to be repaid. So for Tawanda to sit there and act like the money was just a gift, that's not just wrong. That's straight up gaslighting your own sister while the whole world is watching. Like, how do you take something that serious and twist it into something casual just to protect your image? That's wild. Tawanda even tried to flip the story and make it look like Tamar was offering help she never asked for, trying to paint Tamar as controlling, like she was using money to hold something over her. But come on now, this wasn't the first time Tamar stepped in to help her. According to reports, Tamar had been covering Tawanda's phone bills. Not one line, not two lines. 6 phone lines, all on Tamar's own credit card. 6. Who even needs that many lines? That's not helping out a sister. That's taking advantage of somebody's kindness until they're drained. And here's the part that blows my mind even more. Tamar wasn't out here bragging about any of this. She wasn't running around telling everyone what she paid for or trying to embarrass anyone. She kept it quiet until the whole situation pushed her to speak up because things were getting twisted beyond recognition. That's when you know someone has really reached their limit. After all that, Tawanda had the nerve to act like she's the victim, like Tamar is the bad one just because she finally called her out. Come on now. If this were anybody else, people would be calling it exactly what it looks like, straight up taking someone's money and pretending nothing happened. Tamar had every right to take legal action, and the fact that she didn't shows how much she still cared about keeping the family together instead of seeking revenge. But instead of supporting her, the rest of the Braxton crew, Trina, Tony, even their mother Evelyn, all seemed to slide onto Tawanda's side. They actually defended her, and that's wild to see. There were even rumors going around that they wanted to call the police on Tamar, the same person who lost the money. How does that even make sense? How do you protect the one who took the money and turn on the one who trusted them? Somebody needs to explain that logic because it's not lining up at all. At this point, the whole situation is screaming jealousy and favoritism from miles away. It's clear some of the sisters can't stand how Tamar always finds herself in the spotlight, and instead of dealing with their own feelings, they gang up on her like that's going to fix anything, and Tawanda trying to deflect by bringing up Tony's condo situation. Please. There's a huge difference between asking your sister if she's staying somewhere temporarily and taking her money or using her credit cards without permission. One is a simple conversation. The other is a whole crime. Trying to lump those things together doesn't make Tawanda look innocent. It makes her look like she's scrambling to shift blame onto anything and anyone else. This part right here shows how twisted the whole thing became because instead of honesty and accountability, it turned into blame games and finger pointing. What really gets me is how Tony and Trina acted through all of this. They knew exactly what Tawanda did, the credit card situation, the money, all of it, and they still stood by her like nothing happened. How do you watch your own sister cross the line like that and still defend her? That's not loyalty. That's straight up enabling bad behavior. And here's the part that really hits. Tony even admitted on camera that she knew what was going on. She literally confirmed it herself. So that means the whole family knew the truth from the start. But instead of speaking up, they all circled around Tawanda like they were protecting her from the consequences. That's sad, because that's not what real family support looks like. That's not protecting someone. That's covering up wrongdoing just to keep the family image polished. And Tony's reaction, that little smug smirk when she said, family helps each other. Excuse me, since when does taking someone's money count as helping? Since when does taking $50,000, filing bankruptcy to dodge repayment, and maxing out your sister's credit card turn into family helping family? Be serious. That's not family support. That's taking advantage of someone who trusted you. And Tony's calm, unbothered attitude while all this was playing out just shows how deep the cracks run in that family when it comes to loyalty and fairness. Some people get protected no matter what they do, and some people get blamed no matter what they didn't do. But let's get to the part that sent chills down my spine. Tamar said, "You don't want to go blow for blow with me." That line right there showed she was sitting on a whole mountain of truths she'd been holding back for years. It made everything feel 10 times heavier, like this drama wasn't even close to being over. "I know where the bodies are buried. That's not just a comeback. That's a straight-up warning shot." That line tells me Tamar is sitting on way more receipts, way more secrets, and way more truth than anybody in that family wants to face. She was basically saying, "I've been quiet long enough, but if you push me, I'll drop everything." And honestly, after watching how her own family treated her, who could blame her if she finally let it all out? Because let's keep it real. Tamar got painted as the crazy one, the liar, the problem, the dramatic sister who always made things bigger than they were. But when you actually look at the paperwork, the dates, the money trail, everything lines up with exactly what she's been saying since day one. The proof is literally sitting right there in black and white. Let's break it down one more time. Tawanda gets the house in 2018 using Tamar's $50,000, and cool. But not even a year later, in 2019, she files for bankruptcy and lists Tamar as a creditor, which wipes out the debt completely. Then you've got the credit card situation. Unauthorized spending, multiple charges, and Tamar footing the bill without even knowing it first. And still, not one sister stepped up to defend Tamar. Not one single voice saying, "Hey, she's telling the truth." Instead, they all stayed quiet, acting like it was minor drama, brushing it off like it didn't matter. Why? Let's be honest. It comes down to jealousy, favoritism, or maybe a messy mix of both. Whatever the reason is, it's toxic. The truth is this. The Braxton sisters, especially Tawanda, betrayed Tamar in a way that cuts deep, period. Let's call it what it is. Tawanda acted like a sister who couldn't handle Tamar shining brighter, and instead of owning her actions, she slid into shady territory. And instead of holding her accountable, the family just turned their heads and let everything slide like it was normal. And what's worse, this wasn't a one-time slip-up. This was a pattern, a whole cycle of ignoring Tamar's side and protecting the one who caused the damage. This part right here shows how twisted the family dynamics really were and how much Tamar had to swallow just to keep the peace. Every single detail from Tamar's side, the money, the documents, the public records, all of it lines up perfectly. The evidence does not lie, and yet her sisters still threw her under the bus like none of it mattered. That's the part that hits the hardest because the way they gaslighted Tamar in front of everybody was honestly sickening. Picture this. You lend your sister $50,000 out of pure love, just trying to help her get back on her feet. No drama, no pressure, just family supporting family. Then she doesn't pay you back, files bankruptcy to wipe the whole thing away, and somehow still flips the story to make you look unstable. That's not just sneaky. That's cold and calculated. And what makes it even worse is how the rest of the family played along like nothing was wrong, acting like Tamar was being too much or extra just for telling the truth. That's manipulation, emotional pressure dressed up as family loyalty, and it's exhausting watching someone get painted as dramatic when all they did was speak facts. Let's be honest, Tamar has had one of the strongest careers out of all the sisters besides Tony. She built her own lane, dropped hits, had major TV moments, created iconic moments, and earned real success that people still talk about. And you know what comes with success? Jealousy. And you can feel it heavy in this situation. It's like Tawanda couldn't stand watching Tamar win while she was still struggling. So what did she do? She found a way to benefit from Tamar's kindness, took advantage of her support, and when the truth came to the surface, she played the victim like she was the one wronged. And instead of correcting things, the rest of the family closed ranks around Tawanda like the whole situation was just a misunderstanding. They acted like nothing happened, like Tamar was making noise for no reason, like the evidence wasn't sitting right there in plain sight. This right here shows exactly how deep the jealousy and favoritism runs and how fast people will flip a story when someone else's success makes them uncomfortable. What does that really say? It tells Tamar loud and clear that her money is good enough for them, but her feelings don't matter. Her truth doesn't matter. It's basically saying, we'd rather protect the one who did wrong than the one who got wronged. That's not loyalty. That's toxicity, wrapped up in a pretty bow and labeled family. Because real family doesn't cover up lies or defend someone's bad actions just because they share the same last name. Real family checks you when you're wrong, even when it's uncomfortable, even when it hurts. That's what accountability is supposed to look like. And for anybody trying to shrug this off as just family drama, let's be serious for a second. This isn't some petty argument or little disagreement. We're talking about fraud, financial betrayal, and straight-up theft. Tamar could have pressed charges if she wanted to. She had every right to, but she didn't. And why? Because she still loved her sister enough to protect her, even after being hurt.